Greetings! Alright. So last time, Kano literally died from drinking a sip of a dodgy energy / weight loss drink. So we're gonna change his fate pretty soon here, but first off, let's see. So Minorikawa has been freed from his horrible situation of finding his boss's body by Kano deciding not to go visit his fiancée. We also have Achi to deal with. Tama, I think, is currently bad-ended for a variety of reasons. So we've got Achi, we've got Mr. Osawa, who we haven't played at all yet. And then we could go Minorikawa's path, or we could free Kano up. We're kind of like in an ocean of choices right now. I personally am leaning toward seeing what Minorikawa does now that he's not going to lose those 5 minutes. Here we go. So we got the phone call from Toyama. All right, let's check this out. Oh, we gotta see the whole thing. So, yeah, as a reminder, because this game does not let you, in fact, skip dialogue that you have already seen, that is like a singular flaw in this otherwise perfect, glistening, glittering gem of a game. But, just to give a quick summary, basically, Minorikawa got a call from his boss, who was distraught over something. That something is not something we know yet. There's his nega files back there. Gotta say that very carefully. And then there's his horrible desk, and then there's his coat hanging up in the top right. So while I'm skipping through this, general gossip, right. As I mentioned before, I did confirm that there is a quasi-sequel to this game that is an anime called Kanon, and Minorikawa is one of the few characters who actually goes over to it. There's no Kano in it, for instance. But yeah, I've never actually seen it. I know it was kind of popular for a while. Yeah, he's a company he works for. That's right, he is a freelancer. Thank you for the lore correction. Look at you, the deepest lore. That's right, he sounded like sobbing. Are you crying? And then yet another, yeah. At the office. That's right. The lore, our resident Shibuya Scramble lore master, Kablamo. Hanging up, and he's about to break when he heard him mutter, yes. The only thing I can do now is die. So now he's back with the taxi driver. Okay. The taxi's tires squealed as the cab rounded a corner. The shift in momentum made Minorikawa topple over in the back seat. There we go. 10 minutes on the dot, the driver announced. Minorikawa righted himself and looked out the window. Shibuya Station. I knew you could do it, Mr. Kimazuka! He told the driver how to get to Heaven Publishing. It shouldn't be more than 5 minutes further. Sir, if I may ask, just what are you in such a hurry over? Son of a bitch. I beg your pardon? Kimazuka bristled. Not you. The guy who's waiting on me, Minorikawa said. I'm gonna give that son of a bitch a piece of my mind! Minorikawa's storyline is probably my favorite. Tama's is pretty good too, though. The multi-tenant building where Heaven Publishing had its offices came into view. The taxi stopped outside. Minorikawa opened the door as he hurriedly reached for his wallet, and he stopped. What if the worst had come to pass, and he needed to take Toyama to a hospital? Should he have the taxi wait here, or would it be better to call an ambulance? Sir, is there a problem? The driver asked. Wait here. I'll be right back. No, I'm fine. You're a lifesaver. How much do I owe you? Let's see. Wait here. I'll be right back. Wait here. I'll be right back. Minorikawa was out of the cab in an instant, running for the building. Once inside, he avoided the elevator in favor of rushing up the stairs. Gonna get that crazy camera angle again? Heaven Publishing rented out the 3rd and 4th floors. In all likelihood, Toyama would be at the editing department, 4-star General Gossip on the 4th floor. When he got there, however, the door was locked. Mr. Toyama! Hey, Mr. Toyama! He shouted and banged, but there was no reply. Something was seriously wrong. Minorikawa took a deep breath and then kicked the door in. Oh! Toyama was standing on a stool, about to slip his head through a noose that hung from the ceiling. What the hell are you doing? Minorikawa lunged for Toyama. The two men crashed to the floor in a tangled heap. A pile of clutter slid off of a nearby desk and fell on top of them. Minorikawa, what are you doing? Toyama whined. Dragging himself back to his feet proved something of a challenge. That's what I'd like to know! Minorikawa's fury was mounting. What the hell is this all about? He jabbed an accusing finger at the noose hanging from the ceiling. Oh, that! One of the fluorescent lights died, and I was just swapping it out. Don't you feed me that bull! What was that phone call all about? That business about how the only thing you could do was die. Tell me! Just a joke. Toyama curled his lips into a faint semblance of a smile. Minorikawa wasn't buying it, but he didn't have time to press the issue. A cute little voice echoed through the editing office. Daddy, I'm back from the store. Oh, a little girl came walking in carrying a length of rubber gas tubing. What? Oh no, this is getting horribly dark. It was Toyama's 5th grade daughter, Hana. Hana, Teru Toyama's only daughter, currently 10 years old. The night Hana was born at Shibuya Central Hospital, there was an unexpected fireworks display outside the window of the maternity ward. As he looked out at the bursting rockets, Teru decided to name his daughter Hana after the Japanese word for fireworks, hanabi. Minorikawa stared. Toyama? You were planning on that hose, using that hose to... He hesitated to end his sentence with gas yourself to death. Well, you know, it's almost gas heater season after all. The hell it is! It was a beautiful, sunny April day outside. Well, you know how sensitive I am to the cold. This was getting truly ridiculous. Minorikawa got right up in his face. Listen, just explain to me what the heck is going on, okay? He kept his voice low, but his eyes were steely. Hana clung tightly to her father, gazing worriedly up at the two men. No, it's just... Toyama let out a long, heavy sigh of resignation. Keep out! Oh, no! We've been plot blocked. To progress further, you'll need to jump from another protagonist. Sometimes jump keywords might be hidden within a tip. A man named Junichi Yanagishita shows up in Tama's story at 11:20, and he lets out a sigh like Toyama's. Try checking the tip for that sigh. That's right, check the sigh. You hear me? Check it. You check it good. But, alright, so we got, so Minorikawa, we are kept out. We can prevent Kano's end. We could start with Achi. Yo, Kieran, thank you, man. Yeah, dude. Yeah, this game has an autosave system, thankfully. But, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, I feel bad for what happened earlier. Alright. You know what? Let's play with Achi. Let's get Achi's plotline moving some more. The man with the cane aimed his gun at Hitomi, his face devoid of emotion. Now, okay, last time on Shibuya Scramble Achi Z, as you remember, they're in a abandoned hostess club, and Hitomi was about to leave. She opened the door, and the guy with the cane pointed a gun at her head. Good night, man. I understand. Totally understand. So, have a good rest. Please, the girl said, trembling. Why are you doing this? But the man did not reply. Quickly, Achi stepped in between Hitomi and the gun, spreading his arms wide. "Stop!" he said in English, one of the few English words he knew. That's good. He quickly reverted back to Japanese. "Who the hell are you?" Still, the man did not respond. "You know this guy, Hitomi?" "No." Achi was sure he'd never seen the man either. "What are you after? Money? Because if you are, boy, are you wasting your time chasing us." The man furrowed his brow, adjusting his point of aim to Achi's face. His bloodthirsty gaze left Achi no doubt that he was willing to pull the trigger. Reflexively, Achi took a step back, his foot clattering against a discarded beer bottle. "We're gonna get gunned down for sure. Unless we can find some way to catch this guy off guard." It didn't need to be much. If Achi could just distract the gunman for a moment, buy himself the briefest window. "Shoot me then. Go on. Do it!" He stepped forward as he shouted, hoping the provocation would confuse the guy for just long enough. Even as Achi moved, the gunman's attention was distracted for an instant by a sudden sound. The phone in his breast pocket was ringing. Seeing his chance, Achi lunged forward in an attempt to wrest the gun away, snatched up the beer bottle and swung it at the assassin, or grabbed Hitomi and ran. I think wrenching the gun away is a poor idea, because you could just get shot in the midst of that. Hitting him with the beer bottle sounds good. Running is just a way to get shot. So let's try snatching up the beer bottle. Seeing his chance, Achi snatched up the beer bottle and swung it at the assassin. The man narrowly avoided being struck, but he staggered wildly off balance. "Hitomi!" Achi grabbed her by the hand and dashed out of the club. The two sprinted away through the side streets and alleys of Shibuya. Achi began to feel as if they were running some maddening maze. Before long, the two had made it almost as far as Aoyama. "Wait up!" "Huh? Achi, wait up!" Achi glanced back at Hitomi. My bad. Guess you've been running pretty hard. You tired?" Hitomi shook her head. "No, it's just, I have to get to Dogenzaka." "Dogenzaka? What for?" What could she possibly need to do there, now? "That's what I was told when I handed over the attaché case." Oh. The man leaned in to whisper to Hitomi as he reached out for the case. "You're going to do exactly as I tell you. 2 things. He wore a cool, feigned smile, as if this were some casual conversation. "First, you're going to go to Dogenzaka and get in the blue van there." Hitomi nodded wordlessly. "Second, you will not attempt to contact either the police or your family in the meantime." His chilling tone brooked no argument. "Just those 2 things, and we'll let your sister go." Hitomi nodded again. The man flashed her a big, bright grin. "Okay then, give me the money." "A blue van in Dogenzaka, huh?" Achi muttered. "So that's why you said the police were a no-go?" "Yes, exactly." Hitomi's voice betrayed her desperation. "I wonder if your sister's in that van, then." "If she is, then we've got to hurry." Hey, you remember a blue van exploded at the beginning of this story? The issue lay in how to get to Dogenzaka. They could probably avoid their pursuer if they kept to streets only the locals usually knew about. That meant staying off the more well-trafficked routes like Roppongi-dori, or the stretch between oh my gosh, my weeb failure. Miyamasuzaka and the station. The side roads south of the station were their best bet. It was going to be a long detour. Alright, come on. Turning, Achi headed back the way they'd come. After a moment, confusion, Hitomi followed. Achi? There was a note of worry in her voice. Hey, don't sweat it. I actually live in Dogenzaka. We're heading right back to my old neighborhood. Hitomi bowed her head. Thank you so much. Hey, it's no problem. I had to head home anyway. Achi gave her a grin, and she cracked a tiny smile of her own. Hey, you two, you got a minute? Oh, these guys. Achi looked around. A pair of men approached from across the street. These are like the most stereotypical looking Yakuzas ever. There was something shady looking about them. There was everything shady looking about them, thank you very much. Achi's protective instincts kicked in and he stepped in front of Hitomi. If these guys meant trouble, he wanted to be ready. And they better not litter. We just want to ask you something. The younger of the two men drew in closer, a sharp gleam in his eye. Achi braced himself. Ask us what? You know where the Nokane building is? The man held up a flyer. It was for some sort of health food sales demo. We don't know anything about that. Come on, man. The Nokane building. You know where it is or not? Achi knew the name. Wasn't that one of the buildings on Center Guy? That was near Dogenzaka, the same direction he was going. No harm in helping a couple lost dudes. Achi pointed them in the direction of Center Guy. Well, we know that in a different timeline, that is what Achi chose to do, and it resulted in Tama being permanently stuck, apparently for the rest of her life, in a catsuit, which is a sad, sad fate. So, instead, we should choose, I don't like the thought of these two following Hitomi and me. Achi pointed them in the opposite direction from Center Guy. There's the text. It's exactly what I just picked. Pretty sure it's that way, he said. Thanks, man. Sorry to bug you. The two men headed off toward the main road. I like it. The polite Yakuza. They're just like, hey, anyway. Achi and Hitomi hurried onward, following the sparsely trafficked side streets toward Dogenzaka. I don't think I even knew this part of Shibuya was here, Hitomi said as she looked around. Yeah, a lot of people don't. I used to mess around in this neighborhood when I was a kid. They're just looking for a good karaoke bar. Yeah, like any good Yakuza. And then they're gonna do some, bowling, and then they're gonna do some disco, and do some real estate selling. Yeah. The area was a mishmash of rundown residences and office buildings. Almost nobody ever comes here unless they live or work on one of these streets. And check it out. Over there, a rare first-hand glimpse of the Shibuya River. The Shibuya River, a minor river that runs from the Miyamasu Bridge to the Tengen Bridge, depicted in the 36 Views of Mount Fuji by Edo period ukiyo-e artist Hokusai. In Hokusai's time, fireflies were collected from the Shibuya River and presented to the shogun, lending credence to the idea that the river was indeed clean in the past. Okay. So, they didn't have an Achi back then to help clean everything up. Have you always lived in Shibuya, Achi? Yep, born and raised. Achi bent down to pick up a piece of trash from the roadside. That's why I do this. It just pisses me off to see folks make a mess of this place. He picked up another piece of trash. I don't have a job, so I just pick up garbage every day. Man, what am I even doing? My cleanup even matters right now. Hitomi took a long, hard look at his face. What? He demanded. What is it? You just gave her the ick, because you don't have a job. No, I'm kidding. You're a strange one, Achi. That so? She was right, of course. It was sort of strange collecting trash every day, instead of getting a job. Okay, it is legit. He had his reasons for it, but they weren't important right now. Right now, the important thing was getting Hitomi to Dogenzaka. Come on, he murmured. A sudden, angry shout broke the silence as they hurried along. Hey, hold it right there! Achi and Hitomi stopped. The shout wasn't directed at them. Further up the road, a group of thuggish-looking men were having some kind of argument. The man who was shouting had grabbed one of the others by the neck. Idiots! And you still got the gall to call yourself SOS? SOS. The Studs of Shibuya. A youth gang operating out of Shibuya, founded by Achi Endo. Its current leader is Susumu Nishizawa. I mean, yeah, Susumu, but the other man standing around looked distinctly uncomfortable. It takes money to run an organization. No, I know, and since it's not like you're Achi or nothing, I thought you could maybe spare some help on that front, boss. Boss, the top dog, the man in charge, the head honcho. Here, it refers to the leader of SOS, Susumu. A change in leadership can really shake up an organization. The new boss's personality and disposition are a huge factor in whether the group continues to prosper. The fact that Susumu is being asked to spare some help on the monetary front suggests that he still has things to learn about being in charge. Hitomi looked at Achi when the stranger spoke his name. He smiled awkwardly, then turned back to the altercation. "Shut your mouth!" Susumu barked. "How dare you say Achi's name in my presence?" "Hey!" Achi called out. "What was that about me?" As soon as they saw him, the other men went pale. Achi kept his tone casual as he strolled up to the group. "Susumu, you can't just give the guy a beatdown in broad daylight." "Beatdown? To mess someone up super bad, usually with punches and kicks, like a real Yakuza. Don't want to shock the upstanding people of our fair city." "Achi," Susumu glared. "Can we drop the pleasantries?" "Aight," Achi replied with a hint of a sneer. "Aight." "You got it, Susumu. And I'd like to point out we're not on a first-name basis." With that, Susumu turned and stalked away. His buddies followed suit, leaving Achi and Hitomi alone again. "Did you know that guy?" Hitomi asked. "His name's Susumu Nishizawa. And yeah, I know him. I thought I did. Used to be friends way back. Me and those guys were all part of the same crew, but I bailed a little while ago." Achi fell silent. To his great relief, Hitomi didn't pry further. Who's that? Achi and Hitomi had gone a short distance further when he caught sight of a man picking something up alongside the train tracks. Oh, is he picking up trash too? Is it like a movement? That's a comically large amount of trash for Japan. Huh, I wonder. Achi went over to him. "Hey man, you picking up trash by any chance?" Huh? The man let out a panicked shout. Goofballs. This is Taisei Yasuda, 35 years old, just opened up a knick-knack shop in Shibuya. Achi knows Shibuya like his own backyard, but this Yasuda guy is new enough that Achi doesn't recognize him. "Sorry, I just kind of look like that's what you're doing." "Oh, yeah. I'm picking up trash, of course." The guy seemed pretty unnerved. "Like, I just got to thinking, man, this place is filthy." "Right on!" Achi clasped the man's hand in his own. What a camera angle. "Someone else who gets it." They do?" "Totally. I see all this trash all over the place and I can't stand it." "Oh, yeah, sure." The man breathed a sigh of relief. "I can't stand it when someone throws something away when it can still be useful." "I hear that. That's the spirit. Ha ha!" Achi pulled out the trash he had stuffed in his pocket. "Here you go." "Huh?" "Go ahead. Have all of it." The man looked dumbfounded. "Usually I go around picking up the trash around here, but I've got a little thing I gotta do today." "You got it from here." "I'm counting on you." "What? Actually, I'm kinda... Great. Thanks." Achi beamed in approval, then rejoined Hitomi and headed on down the street. The man let out a sigh. "Oh, fine." I can't remember if he comes back or not, but if not, it's just like, hey, we need a goofy outfit guy for just one scene. Slipping through a narrow back alley, they came out near the top of Dogenzaka. Achi looked down the hill, but didn't see a blue van anywhere. He and Hitomi started making their way down toward Shibuya Station. Hitomi muttered to herself, "I don't see it parked around here." Her face twisted up with worry. It was a lot harder to find street parking closer to the station. "Hitomi, hold up." Achi had a sudden idea. He darted into a nearby soba restaurant. Oh no! Not soba! Motioning for Hitomi to follow. "Heya!" he called out to the proprietress, a sharp-eyed, middle-aged woman. "You looking as lovely as ever today, I see." "Oh, Achi, are you done collecting trash for the day?" The lady took a look at Hitomi, her eyes lighting up. "Lady, Maki Yoneda, When she was 19, she happened to stop by this place and was captivated by the chilled curry soba. By day's end, she had decided to make the restaurant her new home. Married the owner at age 22, and they managed the establishment together. Last year, her husband of 30 years passed away. Now she safeguards the generations-old secret of chilled curry soba on her own. Is this your girlfriend? Huh? Oh, no, it's nothing like that. The proprietress was undeterred. Oh, she looks just like a model. She's the spitting image of me at that age. That's a great backhanded self-compliment, I guess. Archie's got himself a girlfriend. I said it's not like that. The woman waved Hitomi over. Now, you know Archie's got a bit of a mouth on him, and he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's a sweet boy. Okay. Hitomi forced a polite smile to her face. He'll try to deny it, but don't you listen. Has he told you about Suzune? Ma'am, please. Archie jumped in on the conversation. These camera angles, I love it. Oh, they had way too much fun with this game. I am so sad that this is the only game of its kind, as far as I know, that takes pictures like this, like a visual novel that does all this. This is great. You gotta hear me out. Whatever's the matter, I'm just trying to talk up your good points. Have you seen a van parked around here? A van? Let me think. Yes. Come to think of it, there was. A blue one. She added confidently. Hitomi leaned forward. Where is it now? She asked. Well, I'm not really sure. I don't keep a close eye on things outside, after all. Hitomi slumped. Let me see. I know it doesn't look it, but I've been quite busy today. The man who makes my noodles came by earlier to settle accounts, and we fought and fought over it. No head for finances, that one. That's his problem, honestly. And on top of that, of course, my part-timer Masa has to have today off. Honestly. Masa, first-year student at Midoriyama Academy, a sweet young man who works as a part-time delivery driver for Dogen Hut and sends all his leftover money to his mother out in the country. Lately, however, he's gotten himself a girlfriend, and he's been sending money home back less frequently. His noodle house job doesn't pay enough to both support his mom and cover his dating expenses, so he's scheming for a way to make it rich quick. Thank you. I'm glad we know about Masa now. Achi frowned. Had she really seen a blue van, or was she just being chatty? Older women who ran tobacco shops or noodle houses did seem to have a knack for spotting details, but women of her age weren't always the most reliable. Oh, man. Do we trust the noodle woman, or do we say the noodle woman is sus? Man. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning toward believing her just to see what happens. But I like that this is a choice. This is great. Alright. I think we're going to go with option A. Yes, exactly. Aji decided to follow up some more. Was there anything unusual about this van? Well, let me think. The woman frowned, pausing a moment and thought. Aha! A flash of recollection shone in her eye. That's right. Now I remember. I think there was some foreigner sitting inside. No! There's too many foreigners. Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances. Yes, I'm sure of it. The man who makes my noodles said he saw it too. Was there anything else? Hitomi asked. No. Not that I can remember. Hitomi hung her head in frustration as they left the soba shop. Achi did his best to cheer her up. Hey, we might still find that car. Let's try waiting around here for a while. Just waiting? What good will that do? It's possible that they went looking for you when you didn't show, Achi said. Maybe they'll come back, you know? He sat down on the edge of a planter outside the restaurant. But the criminals already have the money, she said anxiously. Even Achi understood the implications. Now that the crooks had the ransom, their hostage was nothing but a liability. Why take the risk of letting her go when they already had what they wanted? The situation was bad. Very bad. Still, just running around Shibuya willy-nilly was only going to tire and frustrate them. Achi wanted to make sure Hitomi had the chance for a little break. We don't have anywhere else to look, so let's just give it 10 minutes, okay? He said. Hitomi seemed unconvinced. She looked like she might just march off down Dogonzaka at any moment. I understand how you must feel, but you know what they say. Slow and steady, stay in place. It told me, or stop laughing. Huh? What's so funny? It's slow and steady wins the race. For real? Hitomi smiled and sat down beside him. Alright, she said, we can wait here for 10 minutes. Cool, we've run enough races today already, right? Hitomi kept her eyes on the cars passing through Dogonzaka for a while. Then she murmured softly to Achi. Thank you so much for everything, really. You can thank me after we find this van. I'm sure if I'd been by myself, I'd have been in too much of a panic to do anything. What can I say? I try to keep my head up and face things as they come. You're quite the optimist, aren't you? Achi grinned. He tried to recall what optimist meant. He was pretty sure it had something to do with doctors. Or maybe glasses. Oh, Achi's great. He's great. The shy, sweet look on Hitomi's face as he said it, though, made him figure it probably wasn't a bad thing, whatever it was. Cars drifted on by, one after the other, but they saw no sign of a blue van. After a while, even Achi began to grow impatient. This was starting to feel like a waste of time. And then, a car. He told me, look. There it was. Keep out! Oh, no. No. All right. I think... All right, so we've saved Tama, right? Yes, we did. We do have to change her sample choice at some point, though. The who to choose to save Kano. But you know what? I think we have spent too long avoiding Mr. Osawa. So I think it's time that we Osawa Max. Let's do it. Wealth, status, honor. None of these mean anything to me. All I want is a peaceful life. Put worry behind me. To stay calm and serene. To be free of worldly concerns. Free at any cost. Oh, is that the song? Hey, this is the menu theme. A cheery rhythm pumped from the CD player set up against the study wall. Oh boy, if I was a monetized channel, I would probably be getting a fat copyright strike right now. It was the latest hit from Aya Kamiki, the songwriter sensation who was blowing up the pop charts. I think she actually is a real pop artist, if I remember right. Kenji Osawa reached for the stereo remote on his desktop. He ratcheted the volume up a little louder. Don't do it too loud, you don't want to hurt your hearing. I'm at that age now. He looked like the sort of man who'd be more interested in classical music, but in fact he was a huge fan of the girl rock popular with middle schoolers. Oh, nice. Or people who play visual novels. Closing his eyes, he swayed back and forth in time with the music, humming his favorite lyrics under his breath. But his movements faltered. It's no use. Aya's voice usually soothed whatever ailed him, but today, even she couldn't help. Today, Osawa was a complete wreck, both body and mind. Mounds of paperwork were scattered across the desktop in his study. Is that about infections? All of it about viruses and vaccines. Oh man. I remember when I streamed this back in 2022, I was so careful. I was so worried about saying the V word back then. But now who cares, right? It had only been a week since he'd returned from a business trip to his company's branch office in the US, and he was slated to go back in another week's time. There was a truly staggering amount of work he needed to get through while he was at home. He picked up one of the papers, glanced at it aimlessly, then tossed it back onto the desk. Slumping back in his chair, he let out a long, deep sigh. The drama of this scene is muted a bit by the peppy pop song in the background. But you know what? I'm here for it. He was in no mental state to work right now. A faint knock at the door barely roused him from his torpor. "Director, may I come in?" It was his vice director, Mamoru Tanaka. "Sure." The door's open. Tanaka came into the study. "I know it's not a great time, but..." Osawa could barely make out his words. "Hey! What the... Go back." He tapped the remote, lowering the volume of the music. Tanaka continued apologetically. "A call came in from the lab. They're hoping for a response to the email they sent yesterday." "I'm sure they don't need it today." "Apparently they do need an answer as soon as possible, sir. I did ask them to give you some more time, but..." "I see," Osawa said wearily. "All right, then." Tanaka dipped his head slightly and slipped out of the room. Osawa contemplated his colleague. Tanaka was a man he could truly depend on. He has enough of his own work to do. He didn't need to come here again today, but he did. They'd been working in close concert ever since Osawa had gotten back to Japan. Without Tanaka's support, there was no way he would be in a mindset to do any work at all right now. Sidling up to his computer, Osawa opened his email program and started answering the work-related messages. He reported on his business travel expenses, offered his opinion on capital investments, requested confirmation on current medicinal stockpiles. He worked with bleak detachment. None of this meant anything to him right now. Then a new email appeared in his inbox. The sender was identified simply as A. The subject line read, 1 year ago, South Africa. The message body was blank, but there appeared to be multiple images attached. "Oh, A, you rascal." Ordinarily, Osawa would have deleted a message like this immediately, assuming that it contained some kind of virus. Okay, but the words South Africa drew his attention. Could this possibly be related to... He couldn't help but to wonder. For a long moment, he hovered the cursor over one of the image files. And then when he clicked on it, it was an image of the American pop artist, Rick Astley, in a trench coat, dancing in front of a microphone. No, that's... At last, as if spurred on by the upbeat rhythm in his ears, he double-clicked the mouse. I'm sorry, he's not an American, he's British. Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize to Kieran, he's not here, but I apologize for culturally appropriating Rick Astley. What is this? The grainy photograph showed a large room with a dozen or so people laid out in beds. It appeared to be some sort of medical ward. Osawa felt a strange flutter in his chest. He quickly opened another image. This one showed a close-up of one of the patients in his bed. Large red blotches covered his face. A large volume of blood appeared to be dripping from his ears and nostrils. A cold shudder ran up Osawa's spine. What the hell? These symptoms... Osawa opened up the remaining image files. Each new picture showed another of the patients. They all appeared to be teetering on the brink of death. There was no doubt about it. These people were infected with the UA virus. This A person is sending out unsolicited medical ward pics. That's very problematic. You know, unsolicited doc pics are a big problem. I think we all know that. Anyway, let's read about the UA virus. The UA virus. The UA virus belongs to family Philor... Oh my gosh, I'm fail! Philoviridae, genus Ualique virus. It is a member of the same family as the Ebola virus and causes UA virus fulminant hemorrhagic fever. It is capable of airborne transmission, although an infected individual cannot pass on the infection before symptoms manifest. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, have assigned the virus to Risk Group 4, their classification for the most dangerous infectious agents. This game was fun to stream a couple years ago, talking about dangerous infections. When YouTube was so hyper, your whole channel would get nuked if you said some no-no words. But yeah, interesting. It's an offshoot of the Ebola virus, so it's like the T virus, basically. So this game definitely is a Resident Evil tie-in. But how? Questions tumbled through Osawa's mind. His fingers tapped on a quick message. He doubted he'd get a response, but he might as well try. Who are you? Where are these images from? A flower. The UA virus got its name from a Swahili word for flower. Wait, it comes from a flower? Just like the T virus? Oh! The UA virus, Part 2. The virus is roughly 90 nm to 110 nm in diameter and 50 nanometers to 700 nanometers long. It just took me that long to realize what NM stood for. Oh my gosh. Because of its pronounced sickle-like shape, it is sometimes known as the sickle of death. It possesses a viral envelope, the surface of which is coated with spike-shaped protein protuberances. Oh, 1 nm is nanometer. Oh my gosh, it says it right there. 1 billionth of a meter. Thank you. Oh wow, the sickle of death. It is also known as the edgelordiest of edgelord viruses. Supposedly, this was based on the fact that the propagated form of the virus resembled the petals of the flower. Despite the flowery name, however, the disease was anything but pretty. Nanomachine, son! Could have played college ball if I'd gone pro. Yeah. But I got a virus instead. Alternately, my disease is a sickle of death! Yeah. Ua didn't just mean flower, it also meant to kill. And as the name suggested, the virus had a mortality rate of 100% in those it managed to infect. Mortality rate of 100%. Because most details regarding the UA virus have been suppressed, cases of UA infection are largely unknown to the world at large. Because all patients known to be infected with the virus on official record have died within a short time frame, the mortality rate is given as 100%. As the incidence of known cases grows, the number may drop below 100%, but the mortality rate will likely remain extraordinarily high. Moreover, there was a very short incubation period between infection, the onset of symptoms, and death. Onset of symptoms. Inhaled viral particles can spread from the lungs to the lymph nodes, and from there disperse throughout the body. The virus propagates in several places, including liver cells and macrophages, a component of the immune system, and destroys the endothelial cells within blood vessels. Upon reaching the brain, it forms a neural sludge of blood mixed with other bodily fluids. Ew. Within roughly 12 hours, bleeding would set in throughout the body everywhere but the bones and muscles, with lethal results. Due to its incredibly high mortality rate, the disease's very existence had been kept hidden from public knowledge. Osawa's computer chimed to signify the arrival of a new email. The sender was A. He hurried to open the message. Once again, the subject line read, 1 year ago, South Africa. your crimes. Oh, Osawa stared at those 2 words. My crimes? That left him only with further questions. He looked again at the images from the previous email. What makes any of this my crimes? He could see that the patient's bleeding was severe. He estimated that several hours had passed since the onset of the disease. It wouldn't be long before their lives were cut short. To feel that agony, suffering, and then to perish. Am I to blame for that? Another faint knock came at the door. Darling, do you have a moment? It was his wife, yeah, give me 1 second. Yeah, come in. You want to see the dead bodies that are up on my computer? He just investigating the possibility of a fire breaking out at a sea park. No, B, just give me a second. Give me just a second. Osawa hurriedly closed the mail program. Even if this was nothing more than some sick prank, it wasn't anything he wanted his family to see. Especially not I. All right, come in. Wow. That is one severe-looking woman. But Osawa turned to see that I had already let herself into the study. The sharp sting of her perfume made him scrunch up his face for a moment. Have you reconsidered the whole America thing? She asked. This again, Osawa thought sullenly to himself. Please, he said. Can we not discuss this right now? If not now, then when? You know this isn't a decision to just make on your own. On his latest business trip, a major American pharmaceutical firm had attempted to headhunt him, asking him to join them and be among the top researchers in the world. The money and prestige held no interest for him, and he was reluctant to turn his back on Okoshi Pharmaceutical after his many years of service. Okoshi Pharmaceutical. The pharmaceutical company for which Kenji Osawa works, it is a major corporation with a solid sales network both domestically and internationally, and an annual turnover of 1 trillion yen. It holds patents for several medications that are in demand worldwide, and is influential at the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, and other political institutions. The company employs roughly 7,000 people, including 600 researchers. Nonetheless, he was intrigued by the offer. It would mean the chance to conduct his virus research in a much better funded environment. Taking the job would necessitate relocating to the U.S., however. When he'd mentioned the possibility of emigrating to Ai, she'd shot the idea down on the spot. Her opposition was understandable. Ai's father, Suguru Makino, was a member of Okoshi Pharmaceutical's board of directors. No way was he going to let Osawa jump ship to another company. So he's in like a monster situation. Like, he's engaged to the daughter of the head of, in that case, it was the hospital. But kind of this similar thing. Darling, please. I drew in closer to him. Think about it from my perspective. If you leave for America, what am I supposed to tell my father? He'd gotten so used to it. That grating whine of hers. Oh, man. Take my wife, please. Have you considered what might happen to Okoshi if you leave, dear? We can discuss that once all this is finished. Osawa kept his voice as level as he could. You do remember that you're a director, right? I said. You have responsibilities. Stop thinking about yourself so much. With a sour look, I turned and departed. Well, he had known that moving to America would never be a simple matter. Be a simple matter, I'm guessing, regardless of what his wife thought about it. There was another reason, however, the antiviral agent that he developed at Okoshi. Antiviral agent, a therapeutic drug used to treat viral infections. Examples include the drugs used against influenza and HIV. These treatments do not eliminate the infection, rather they simply inhibit the development of the disease. There are still many issues with such drugs, including the risk that treated viruses possess or develop a resistance that makes the treatment ineffective. Academic institutions and pharmaceutical companies worldwide devote tremendous resources to further advancing the field of antiviral medicine. After the Uwa virus was discovered, infectious disease research facilities worldwide had thrown themselves into a top-secret effort to develop a vaccine. This was one I had to be careful about. Vaccines function by safely introducing a harmless or attenuated version of a virus or other pathogen into the human body. This triggers the body to produce antibodies against the pathogen, making it difficult for the dangerous version to take hold. But Makino had ordered Osawa to work on creating an antiviral agent, not a vaccine. A vaccine immunized the subject in order to prevent infection in the first place. Conversely, an antiviral agent could be used to treat patients already infected. It was a so-called wonder drug for combating the virus itself. Creating such a drug was far easier said than done. Developing the antiviral had been a long, arduous road. Only after years of research had Osawa's team succeeded in identifying a substance that might qualify as an antiviral agent for Uwa. In theory, it was administered during the virus's initial stages. 100% recovery could be attained. Data also suggested a 80% survival rate for patients treated shortly after the onset of symptoms. But there was a fatal flaw with the new antiviral agent. The side effects on the body were unusually potent. If it was administered in amounts beyond a certain threshold, it was linked to life-threatening complications. For a time, the research was at an impasse, and it seemed that the drug had to be administered in high volume to combat the explosive propagation of the Uwa virus. But then Osawa had received some fortuitous news. Okoshi Pharmaceuticals nanotechnology, are you reading ahead? Branch had engineered a cutting-edge device known as the DDS. Nanotechnology. Technology created and or operated on an extremely small scale, often measured in nanometers. There are 1 billion nanometers in a meter. Some nanotech devices are literally regulated on the atomic level. The possibilities are ever expanding in practical fields, such as medicine and materials science. The United States is among the world leaders in the push for research and development. My vision is augmented. DDS, acronym for Drug Delivery System. Such a system administers ultra-microscopic drug capsules to a targeted area of the body. He is the deep lore master, this is true, yes. Osawa had jumped on it immediately by administering his antiviral agent with the nanotech DDS. There's more. Because a DDS can be used to deliver a drug with pinpoint precision and only where it is needed, it can greatly reduce the side effect of even very potent drugs. The DDS developed by Okoshi Pharmaceutical utilizes advanced high-tech polymers which ensure that the capsules containing the drug are fully broken down and eliminated from the body roughly 1 week after administration. Look at that. Look at that. We're getting a diagram and everything. Look at that. Osawa had jumped on it immediately. By administering his antiviral agent with the nanotech DDS, he was able to use smaller amounts of the drug to quash the Uwa virus with precision. The procedure was a huge success. There was a marked increase in the drug's efficacy, along with the expected decrease in adverse side effects. Adverse side effects. A pharmaceutical is said to have a positive effect if its use brings out the desired results when treating a medical condition, but many drugs create unwanted or unforeseen adverse effects as well. Given the extreme complexity of most drugs' interactions with the human body, nearly any medicine can have both positive and negative effects. The effects had been confirmed via animal testing on monkeys, and now the antiviral is ready for the final development stages, clinical trials on humans. Animal testing. Experiments involving drugs or medical techniques tested on animals to confirm their safety before they are used on humans. The 1964 Declaration of Helsinki, which lays out ethical standards for human experimentation, advocates responsible animal testing, but many animal rights advocates regard such testing as a form of animal cruelty. Clinical trials. When a new drug is being prepared for government approval, After it has been tested on animals, it must pass tests on humans, clinical trials, that are evaluated safety and suitability. Such tests are frequently conducted on both patients and healthy individuals. In Japan, the development of new drugs is often hindered by insufficient legal infrastructure for conducting clinical trials, resulting in smaller knowledge base and fewer opportunities for testing. But the very existence of this new wonder drug was still a secret. No doubt, Okoshi's leadership would be reluctant to see Osawa, the drug's lead researcher, transferred to another company. Still, it wasn't completely outside the realm of possibility. Once the antiviral was out of development and announced to the public, Osawa would be free and clear. For that very reason, he was loath to cause any friction over the drug right now. This anxiety only magnified his concern about the email he just received. Osawa called up Tanaka over the intercom. "There's something I want to show you. Could you come in here?" He needed a second opinion, and Tanaka could be relied upon. Osawa opened the door the moment Tanaka knocked. He looked around before ushering his vice director inside. "What's this about, sir?" "This." Osawa showed him one of the images. Tanaka's face went pale. "It can't be." Tanaka clearly recognized the symptoms of the Uwa virus. "Any idea what this is about?" Osawa asked. "No, sir. These images were just emailed to me. The subject line says 1 year ago, South Africa. That would put it around the same time as the most recent run of infections, wouldn't it, sir? But that information isn't..." Tanaka trailed off. Osawa nodded. "The thing I don't understand is why these pictures were sent to me." Osawa opened the other email from A. "The second message I got says that these pictures are my crimes." "I'll look into this on my end, sir," Tanaka said. He hesitated uncomfortably. "Sir, just to make sure, Are you asking about what I think you're asking about?" Osawa said. Tanaka gave a slight nod. "Understood," Osawa said. "Don't worry. I won't trouble you." "I appreciate that, sir." Visibly relieved, Tanaka left the study. Wonder what that was about. Seems mysterious, like we're not meant to know yet. Osawa brought up a folder marked UA_virus on his screen. Within the folder were enlarged images of the virus itself. He double-clicked one of the images. It blew up on the monitor to reveal the pathogen in intricate detail. A specimen of the Uwa virus was approximately 100 nanometers in diameter. 10,000 of them in line would take up barely a millimeter, but a single tiny virion, upon entering the human body, could become 2,000 in an hour. The speed of multiplication was nothing short of astonishing. But even the Ebola virus had a typical incubation period of 7 days or so before infectees developed symptoms. Ebola virus, a virus of the family Filoviridae that causes Ebola hemorrhagic fever. Currently, 5 characterized species are known: Thai forest, Sudan, Reston, Zaire, and Bundi Bugyo. Ebola is widely known for its high mortality rate, 53% for the Sudan form, 88% for the Zaire. But the Reston variety, discovered in monkeys that have been brought into the US, has displayed no pathogenicity in humans. Oh my gosh. Got $10 words hitting me in the face all night tonight. For influenza, it was 1 or 2. But the onset of the Uwa virus never happened in a mere 12 hours. Osawa viewed an image slideshow of the virus's propagation mechanism. It was a fascinating sight, no matter how many times he looked at it. Viruses existed to multiply, nothing more. They had no motives, no driving logic, nothing but simple multiplication. To Osawa, that fact held a certain amount of mystery. If viruses had emotions, how would they feel about their lives? Is that the next Pixar movie? If viruses had feelings? He had thrown himself into virus research in search of answers to questions like that. Answers that no man could truly know. Excuse me, cold bug. How do you feel right now? Everyone always asks, where is flu season? Nobody ever asks, how is flu season? His development of the antiviral agent had really been nothing more than another job responsibility. He felt no particular sense of duty to protect people from a killer virus. He was just happy for the chance to play around with UA day after day. Another email arrived in his inbox. Osamu furrowed his brow as he scanned the message. Emergency alert. Come to Heaven Publishing, ASAP. If not, someone is going to die. What? Minoru Kawa. What? Hang on. Minoru emailed him? Huh. I wonder if this is something that's going to end badly that we have to change. Heaven Publishing. Minoru Kawa. Osawa wasn't familiar with either of those names, so no. He wondered if it was related to the mysterious emails he'd received earlier. Or maybe the sender had some information about the kidnapping. The fact that the message had been signed with a real name instead of a pseudonym, along with its obvious urgency, certainly gave it an air of truth. And the words, somewhere someone is going to die, filled him with a wave of panic. Maria! There was no time to waste. In a rush, he found directions to Heaven Publishing on his computer, then slipped out of the house. It took a good while to find his way to the multi-tenant building. The signs in front showed that Heaven Publishing occupied the 3rd and 4th floors. Osawa took the elevator to the 3rd floor. He peeked inside the offices there, only to find the entire place empty. The 4th floor was likewise deserted. There was a rope dangling from the ceiling, tied off into a noose. It all seemed rather sinister, but Osawa had no idea what it meant. But we, the audience, do. He waited a good 30 minutes, anxious the whole time. A half hour turned to an hour, and then to 2. It seemed that no one was going to turn up. Osawa headed back to the 3rd floor. I like the lucky cat behind him. He decided to wait there for 1 more hour. By now he was committed. The extra hour turned into 2. Exhausted, he dozed off in his chair, and when he came to, it was close to sundown. Sunset already? He gazed out the window, the haze of sleep, still clinging to his mind. He had the feeling he was forgetting something important. But the sight of the sun quietly setting over the cityscape made the crisis of life feel strangely distant. This is very beautiful. This is very emotional. And this is going to be a bad end. The time of peace and quiet he'd longed for was right here. What? An escape from reality. Bad end number 16. A mysterious email told Osawa to go to Heaven Publishing, but there was nobody there. This email was sent by Minoru Kawa, of course. At around 11:30, he blasted out an email to all the reporters he knew, but in his hurry, he screwed up one of the addresses, which coincidentally delivered a copy of the message to Osawa. Obviously, this never would have happened if Minoru Kawa hadn't rushed out that email. Okay. So we have when we unlock a Minoru Kawa story again, we have to change something. That's the weirdest bad end so far. Like, I'm looking out, watching the sunset, and thinking about life, and that's it. It's over. All right. I think it's time to save Kano's life. So let's go back to Tama real quick. Who to choose? So as you remember, a while back, last week, Tama had to choose somebody. So she is going to force the burning hammer sample off on the businessman. Let's go. Clutching the free sample in my furry fist, I try to force it off on the businessman to my left. Here you go, sir. A free sample of burning hammer, the latest and greatest diet drink. The businessman flashes me a look of utter contempt and makes a point of avoiding me as he slips past. Bam. There goes the wind right out of my sails. I wonder how the other mascot is doing about now. Okay, and then that's, yeah, then we're back to Cheery there, who's having a grand old time. But Kano lives! Here we go. In cahoots with the kidnapper. Let's go back. Kano decided to... Last time we stared him down, let's look away. Kano decided to look away nonchalantly. But his anxiety got the better of him, and after a moment he turned his gaze right back. Soon the two men were locked in a staring contest. Okay, that decision doesn't actually matter then. Ah, my apologies, the man said. He shut his phone with a click. I know it's rather rude to talk on one's cell phone when you're on a train. That's just common decency. The man affected a smile, then headed back to the car from which he'd come. Dying does result in a lot of lost weight, to be fair. Yes. Yeah, the illusion of choice. What is this, a Telltale game? The man in the business suit will remember that? Sheesh! Guess I overreacted. Oh no. Oddly dressed passenger? Oh no, it's, blend into your surroundings more. Sasayama. Yeah, Sasayama's in his, anime nerd getup, the otaku costume. Yeah, Japanese folk singer, Buddhist priest. Kano had found Sasayama's costume antics amusing. Right. So this was kind of where we ended last time with Kano, Okay, the suspect, meanwhile, was still staring out the window. The announcer's electronic voice filled the train compartment. Next stop, Harajuku! Next stop, Harajuku! Huh? Kano almost cried out. The suspect was moving toward the exit door. Apparently, he was only taking the train one station down the line. The train pulled into Harajuku Station, and the man got off. Harajuku. The area east of the Japan Rail Harajuku Station, corresponding to Jingumai 1 Chome in Shibuya, once a bustling shukuba, or post station, where travelers could rest while journeying across the country. In modern times, it bustles instead with high schoolers after school displaying flashy youth fashion. Clothing and accessory stores and fast food restaurants line the streets. Many cutting-edge trends in Japanese youth culture get their start here. The detectives following him disembarked accordingly. The suspect walked along the platform and took a seat on an empty bench. Was he checking to see if he had a tail? Well, he doesn't. Only Tama does. Sticking around on the platform at a station where you just got off was pretty unusual behavior. Not wanting to arouse the man's suspicion, the investigators from the MPD made their way down the stairs as inconspicuously as they could. Kano, however, had a sudden inspiration and went to speak to one of the station attendants. Sorry to bother you, but I think I left something on the train just now. He tried to keep an eye on the man on the bench as he fed his story to the attendant. The suspect sat silently on the bench, attaché case clutched securely in his arms. He didn't really look like he was checking for a tail. Was he waiting here for someone else then? Before long, a train heading counterclockwise around the loop arrived. The man rose from the bench and stepped up to the boarding area. Wait, what the heck? If this guy got on the counterclockwise train, wouldn't that just take him right back to Shibuya Station? The man boarded the train. Kano had no choice but to follow suit. Was this guy playing them? The suspect got off again once the train reached Shibuya. All he'd done was to go to Harajuku and come right back. Kano reported him into Kuze. The suspect has returned to Shibuya Station. Acknowledged! Keep tailing him! Kano felt himself growing increasingly paranoid. This criminal organization didn't seem too keen on getting away, and here was HQ giving these guys free rein. Something was off. He was sure of that. As he tailed the mark, Kano took out his phone. What were Tatano's instincts about the case right now? If the senior detective had any advice, Kano would love to hear it. He dialed Tatano's number. The line rang a few times, but nobody picked up. Probably he was too busy seeing to Hitomi's safety. Kano felt bewildered. They'd been letting the suspect lead them around for over an hour now. During an abduction case, you generally didn't update the victim's family on any developments in case they tried to interfere. Kano could only imagine what the Osawa family was going through right now. Well, their dad is sitting in an office contemplating life right now in this timeline. After a short walk from Shibuya Station, the attaché case was handed off yet again. This time, the recipient was a tall, dark-skinned man. Again, the Shibuya-based task force split into two groups in order to tail both suspects. Kano stuck with the man who had the case. Ah, it's a blue van! As the previous man had done, the newest suspect wandered around Dogenzaka for a while. Repeatedly looping around and around the same location was a weirdly roundabout way to make a series of handoffs. Excuse me, detective. Oh! It's Leland Palmer! Kano turned around with a start. Oh, hey, he said. I know you. It was Leland Palmer, the lecturer who'd been an eyewitness to the kidnapping. The man practically radiated concern. How is Maria doing? Is she all right? I am very, worried for her. His Japanese was more halting now. My heart, it is with her family. Kano gave a quick look around. It didn't appear that they were being watched. Maybe Palmer knew more than he'd told the police earlier. If Kano talked to him now, he might get some additional clues. If the syndicate spawns us, my cover's blown, we're hosed. Let's talk. Maybe Palmer knew more than he'd told the police earlier. If Kano talked to him now, he might get some additional clues. Actually, Leland, do you mind if I ask you a few questions about the party where the kidnapping occurred? Leland squared his shoulders. No. Please, ask anything. Do you know what time Maria showed up at the event? Leland hesitated, thinking. Probably around 6 o'clock? She was there when it started. Was there anyone else there who stood out? Stood out? How? Like someone you usually wouldn't expect to see there. Leland tilted his head. No, I don't think so. Everyone there was a student from my class, including the exchange students. Not much new here, Kano thought. He decided to ask one last question. Did you happen to hear why Hitomi was running late in the first place? Oh, no. Sorry. I'm not very helpful, am I? Leland dipped his head in apology. It's all right. Thank you for your cooperation. Please, help Maria. I will. Kano parted ways with Leland and went back to tailing his suspect. He pulled his phone from his pocket. It was Rumi again. It was weird that she'd called twice when she knew he was in the middle of something important. Had something happened while she was waiting at the cafe with Shizuo? Hey, that's Aya Kamiki. Kano picked up hurriedly. What's the matter? What's the matter? You know what the matter is. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Let me reread that. What's the matter? You know what the matter is. Rather than Rumi's soft soprano, it was a threatening, masculine voice that came over the phone. Uh-oh. Kano felt his whole body stiffen with dread. Is this my father-in-law speaking? Don't remember being anyone's father-in-law. The speaker's tone was firm and flat. No, I know. Kano found himself at a loss for words. So you're dating my daughter, huh? Sir, yes, sir. Kano barely squeaked out his reply. Thinking about getting married? Yes, sir. And speaking of which, I'd love the chance to sit down and have a nice long... Then how long are you gonna keep me waiting? Hurry up and get your ass over here! Oh, how very much Kano would wished he could do exactly that. Sir, I would, but... Forget it. The words came in an angry huff. You can't have her. Goodbye. What? Sir, please! Wait! As Kano cried in desperation, he heard Rumi's voice on the other end of the line. Dad, you can't just use my phone like that! You were taking too long in the bathroom. Give it back! Rumi? Kano tried and failed to keep the heartbreak out of his voice. Sweetie, what's wrong? Your father just said he doesn't want us getting married. What? Dad! What did you say to my boyfriend? Listen to you. Calling that boy little pet names and whatnot. I think you're a little too attached. Dad, you haven't even met him. That's why I told you to have him come see me. How long's he gonna make me wait? Kano listened as the two argued on the other end of the phone. The phone must be lying somewhere between them. Could this get any more awkward? Rumi, I'm sorry, Kano shouted apologetically into the mouthpiece. This is all my fault. Please, you don't have to fight me like this. The phone clattered as Rumi scrambled to bring it to her cheek. No, I'm the one who should be sorry. Sorry for what? It was Shizuo. Oh, sorry for what? It was Shizuo again, grumbling in the background. You have nothing to apologize for. I'll deal with my father, Rumi said hastily. You just focus on work, sweetie. I know you're in the middle of something really important. Thanks, Rumi. Kano was legitimately touched. I'll do my best. Kano hung up and went back to the task at hand, more determined than ever. Oh, man. For Rumi's sake, not to mention the victims, he needed to focus on cracking this case. The man he was tailing was walking several meters ahead. There was no telling when Kuze might give the arrest order. Kano braced himself to spring into action the very instant the order came down. Mobile command all units. Once more, the director's voice came in over the wireless. Was it time to make the arrest, at last? We've identified the man who first picked up the attaché case by the statue of Hachiko. No arrest yet then, but still a crucial development. His name is Tariq Al-Karawan. He's got priors for larceny, illegal possession of narcotics, you name it. He belongs to a foreign criminal syndicate that's operating in Shibuya. Kano felt his apprehension rising. If this syndicate was behind the kidnapping, they were anything but amateurs. And though they might be leading the police on a wild goose chase, they certainly weren't playing around. To be continued. Oh wow, that's like flat out. We're done with Kano's storyline this time around. Sheesh. Wow, we're all done with Kano for the hour. That's impressive. All right, well, let's see. Minorikawa is kept out. Osawa's bad-ended for now. I guess the time has come to get back to Tama's story. Stuck in the cat costume. I decided to... Let's have Cheery help this time, for fun. I decided to ask Cheery. Sorry, would you mind helping me pull my... Ow! I feel the dull, throbbing pain in the back of my head. Like I bumped my head somewhere, but I don't remember doing that recently. Cheery flashes me a curious look. What are you doing? She asks. I thought maybe I could at least get the head off. It ain't gonna work. That thing's attached to the body. I slump forward in defeat, face planting on the tabletop. No. Most folks would have noticed that when they put it on, you know. Well, I didn't. The boss helped me get into the thing. Well, don't let it get you down, Cheery says. Here, drink some of this. Yeah, we got this last time. One of the things that's kind of fun is that Tama's story, if you notice, is written in first person. And everyone else's is third person. Yes, so... Okay. An embarrassed grin crosses her face. I'm not here to abandon someone in need. Hey, I remember last arc, or last timeline, you just ditched poor Tama after the guy got dragged away. Like protein juice, right, never heard of it. Yeah. When you lose weight, kinda need to keep it chubby frame. comically chubby frame. Yeah. It's like totally bogus. All right. It's a surprise. You gotta exercise if you want to burn body fat. You know you're gonna lose weight by taking in more calories. Yeah. So basically drinking meal replacement constantly to lose weight. All right, there we go. So, we've changed the fate of Tama's boss by pointing the Yakuza in the wrong direction. The door flies open suddenly and a loud voice belts out. Hold it right there! Yes! Oh yeah, this theme song, it's great. I whirl it around in a panic to see an odd-looking man standing in the doorway. It's Junichi Yamagashita. He's the guy who hired us. I heard that, Chiri. Don't you go calling my product junk. That's disrespectful. Chiri gave you an apologetic look. Whoops. Sorry about that. You should be, but whatever. If you really have doubts, have a try for yourself. Mr. Yamagashita pulls a bottle of Burning Hammer from his coat pocket. Burning Hammer. Sister products include Del Sweats, Cellulose, Better Sweater, Dom Pepperon, Power Burn Z, Mr. Thin, Negachow, and Super Negachow. Okay. At first glance, it looks like some kind of energy supplement, but the cheapo label gives an immediate impression of sketchiness. Go on, says Yanagashita. Give it a go. Chiri reaches out to take it. But no sooner does she grab the bottle than Mr. Yanagashita shouts out once more. Wait! Hold on! Huh? Chiri squawks. What gives? You two. You're both good. Stomach-wise? Stomach-wise? Yeah. Drinking this stuff on an empty stomach can cause some pretty nasty problems. So just make sure you eat or drink something beforehand. Doesn't matter what, really. Oh! So that's what happened to poor Kano. Oh, because remember they made a very distinct point of mentioning he hadn't eaten anything that day. Yeah. Wait, nasty problems? Yeah. Such as what? I ask. I'd rather not say. Nobody would buy it otherwise. Seriously? It's all good. I just had lunch, Chiri says. She flashes a carefree smile. Make sure to eat a meal before you drink your meal replacement. Yes! Well, I haven't eaten yet. But on the other hand, I've been guzzling as much iced tea as I can to fill myself up. It's probably safe for me to try this stuff. Wait, is this that stuff that gives you visions or something? I'd better not drink this stuff. It's not even particularly appetizing. I might as well drink it in for a penny, in for a pound. Hey, maybe it'll help me lose some weight. Let's go for it. I may as well try it, in for a penny, in for a pound. And hey, maybe it'll help me lose some weight. I stick the bottle of Burning Hammer into my mascot head mouth. It had an unexpected smell, like curry. Getting my own lips around the mouth of the bottle, I gulped down the liquid inside. Huh? It doesn't taste like anything. A handful of seconds go by. Oh no. What the heck? What the heck is this? It feels like a firecracker just exploded inside my mouth. Now it's spicy. Way too spicy. It's like I just swallowed a chili pepper coated in curry powder. Before I know it, I'm sweating bullets. Well, you sweating? Mr. Yanagashita asks. Like a whole lot? You are, aren't you? Why does he sound so happy about that? That right there is the magic of Burning Hammer at work. Chiri and I are at a loss for words. Burning Hammer! Drink all you want and just burn those pounds away. How's that sound? Good, huh? This is just so stupid spicy it makes you sweat, Chiri blurts out. Blunt and to the point. I approve. Yeah? Well, I guess you're right, Yanagashita says. The mascot costume reaching up pathetically at the bottom. He hangs his head. What is in this stuff? I ask. I can still feel my tongue tingling. Heck, my body is almost too numb to move. I'm so shocked I even forget to get properly angry. So, it's this health food product that got imported from America a few years back, Yanagishita explains. But the import agency went out of business not long after and couldn't move the merch. So I bought up the whole lot. Everything they had in their storehouse. Spent all the money I had on it. Cherry arches an eyebrow. How much did it cost you, she asks. 1 million yen for 300 bottles. I can scarcely believe my ears. 300 bottles at 1 million yen for the lot. That's roughly 3,333 yen apiece. Each one of these teensy little bottles cost over 3,000 yen? Can we get a price check on that, chat? Thank you. You got ripped off, man, Cherry says. I think that's like a couple $100. You really think so? Huh, yeah. You're probably right. He hangs his head even more despondently. This is the sort of thing they'd sell in 100 yen shops or something. Ouch, Cherry. Moving in for the kill. 100 yen shops? Really? About $22? Oh my gosh. Still, that's crazy. Mr. Yanagishita lets out the heaviest of sighs. I'm starting to feel pretty bad for the guy, actually. Don't let it get you down, sir, I say, hoping to comfort him. But Mr. Yanagishita just lets out a sob-choked sigh. A sigh. A deep breath, emphatically exhaled, often a sign of disappointment, stress, or unrequited love. Also a way of expressing the anxiety brought on by massive debt. One has no money to give, only sighs. Right around now, Minoru Kawa is in the company of someone inclined to sigh this way, and we're gonna go see Minoru now. We unlocked him! Ooh, keep out's gone. No, it's just... Toyama let out a long, heavy sigh of resignation. It's the scratch cards that were in 4-star general gossip. Scratch cards. A type of lottery card featuring areas printed with a special silver ink. These silver-inked areas can be scratched off with just a fingertip or coin to reveal potential winnings, providing a quick speed lotto fix. In order to prevent the symbols or letters underneath the silver from showing through, the back of the card is printed in black. Somehow, you always seem to lose when you've got your hopes up. You manage to win when you least expect it. That's where the problem is. And what is the problem? If you shine a light on the cards from behind, you can see where the winning symbols are. Whoa! I messed things up dealing with the printing company. All of this, he gestured vaguely. It's my fault. My responsibility. He proceeded to explain the situation in detail. Word was quick to leak on the internet that there was a way to find the winning symbols. And suddenly, thousands of card holders turned up en masse to collect. Heaven Publishing was hit with a massive financial liability, and the employees rushed to flee a sinking ship. Before Toyama realized it, he was the only one left at the company, and he was up against the deadline for next month's 4-star general gossip. If I have to drop next month's issue, I'll be stuck in debt even deeper, and if that happens, I'm finished. Toyama gave a dismal groan. So don't drop the issue! Minoru Kawa snapped. He pounded his fist right into the side of a cardboard box. But Toyama just shook his head weakly. I've been up for 3 days straight trying to fill the pages. It's not enough. I can't do the impossible. He dropped his gaze to the floor. Countless scratch cards lay scattered about. They had probably been amidst the pile that had fallen off the desk earlier. Each card showed a neat row of 5 win symbols. You can't know if it's impossible if you don't see it through. I'll never make it in time. The proof needs to be done by 8 o'clock this evening. A proof. The final stage before printing, when the copy or manuscript is checked for errors. Not sending corrected proof to the printer before the deadline can result in the book or magazine in question not making it onto the shelves in time for release day. Well then, Minoru Kawa thought to himself. He let out a sigh, and held his hand out to Hana. Hana, would you mind giving me that hose? Hana gave her father a quick look, then handed the rubbered hose to Minorikawa. This won't be necessary. He tossed the rubber hose into the trash, then jabbed his finger at Toyama. Show me the layout and the draft proposal for next month's issue. Toyama blinked a few times in disbelief. Huh? You can't possibly be serious. I'm trying to help! Now show me the layout and the proposal before I change my mind! After a brief, incredulous pause, Toyama hurried off to grab the paperwork. A layout in publishing speak is an outline of a magazine showing which articles will occupy which pages. Minorikawa gave it a quick once-over, finding that 12 of the pages were still blank and untouched. He wanted to punch whatever writers had been assigned those pages. See what I mean? Toyama said. It's hopeless. He sounded perversely proud of his failure. Getting enough material to fill 12 pages by 8 o'clock. Yeah, it was definitely a tall order, all right. Says who? Minorikawa replied. Remember who you're talking to here. You seriously think you can do it? You're joking, right? Minorikawa shot back. I seriously know I can do it. There's nothing in this world that I hate more than a bad joke. What? Are you doing this for me? Toyama was getting misty-eyed. I'm not doing it for you, you spineless wimp. I'm doing this for poor little Hana. Minorikawa, I'm so sorry. Toyama bowed his head so deeply Minorikawa thought he might put his face through the floor. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to your daughter. Oh, forgive me. Please forgive me, Hana. Toyama clutched her tightly in his arms. The girl hugged him back on the verge of tears. Hey now, enough of the waterworks. I've got your backs. Don't you worry about a thing. Minorikawa picked up the draft proposal for the pages that needed filling. The words Shibuya Scuttlebutt Special were plastered across the cover sheet in big, bold type. Okay, so a 12-page special edition Walk on Shibuya. Fair enough. And first on the docket, drink yourself thin with burning hammer. This reeked of a scam. Yeah. Yeah, Minorikawa's on the money. The only way drinking more of something would make you lose weight would be if it was mixed with a laxative. Probably. Still, there wasn't enough time to tweak the layout plan now. According to the proposal write-up, a product demo was scheduled for 1 p.m. that day. The location printed on the map was blurry and hard to make out, but Minorikawa had a rough idea where it was. It looked like he didn't have much of a choice, but to swing by in the hopes of getting more material. He scanned further along into the proposal. Society of Surveillance, hidden cameras installed throughout Shibuya. The rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad. Where are they now? Washed up screenwriter showcase. Sexy squared. Twins share top prize at local university beauty contest. Shibuya now. Black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. Shadowy foreign crime syndicate exposed. Those 7 pieces were to fill the 12 empty pages. That was the plan at any rate. But there wasn't enough material there to make any headway. The Shibuya Now article didn't even have any proposed content. This sucked hardcore. It didn't look like there was much material for the rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad either. The notes suggested that a few years prior, a group of youngsters in Shibuya had banded together to help fight crime in their neighborhoods. At this point, however, things had flipped completely, and they'd become a gang of street punks themselves. A turn to the dark side. It had the makings of an interesting article, to be sure, but tracking down this gang would take time. Minorikawa was personally intrigued by the one about organ harvesting in Shibuya. The rumor was that organs were being smuggled out of Southeast Asia and fenced locally at a tremendous price. There was even a plan to ascertain the authenticity of these claims. Fascinating. If Minorikawa was going to be spending all day gathering other material, though, he didn't have much time to spare for it. Shibuya Now. The rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad, black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. Minorikawa decided that one of these 3 would have to go. He thought about it long and hard as he stared at the draft proposal. There was a good chance he'd really screw himself over if he picked the wrong one. Finally, he decided to cut... Shibuya Now, the rise and fall of Shibuya's... Let's do the black market trip. Finally, he decided to cut black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. It had the potential to be the most interesting, but getting the material would take way too long. His goal was just to make sure that the gossip made it to press at all. Society of Surveillance, where are they now? Sexy Squared. Those 3 pieces of individuals slated for interviews, but no appointments had been made with any of them. Unscheduled interviews were a dicey prospect. Minoru Kawa decided to call them up on his cell as he made his way down the list. The only one he managed to get a hold of was Shinosuke Orai from the Where Are They Now piece. Shinosuke Orai, former broadcast writer, has appeared on various popular variety shows on commercial networks on TV. He currently heads up a small theater troupe known as the Wandering Angels, operating out of Shibuya. Later today, the troupe is putting on a performance at Theater Ace in Sakura Gaukacho. He said he'd be willing to give a 15-minute interview after 2:30 p.m. Minoru Kawa sighed. He'd just have to get material from the others in a more impromptu fashion, then. Putting his nose to the grindstone, he started throwing together a schedule for the day. Was it possible to get all that material and write it all up and still finish the whole thing by 8 o'clock? It was no use. No matter how he tweaked it, none of his simulations ended with him having a proof ready on time. He just needed one more thing, and that was another writer. Minoru Kawa zoomed through his contacts list, calling up all the freelancers he knew. The results were depressing. Answering machines. Overseas on business. In the hospital. Currently doing in the hospital and currently doing time. Before long, he'd called everyone he could think of except for one. Novice freelancer Chiaki Iso. Chiaki was a bit of an odd duck. A reporter who was scared of talking to people. Minoru Kawa had never known anyone who became so hopelessly flustered in a one-on-one setting. Hopelessly flustered. In such a rattled state as to be unable to speak, Chiaki's tendency to become flustered is famous among her freelance writer colleagues. Once, she conducted an hour-long interview during which she only managed to ask her interview subject's name. Yet another chapter in The Legend of Hopelessly Flustered Chiaki. If she couldn't talk to people, she certainly couldn't do interviews. And if she couldn't get any real interview content, she wouldn't be able to write much in the way of copy. Would she come to his aid if asked? Quite probably. The issue was whether she would hinder more than help. All his emailing all his contacts from back in staff reporter days will result in him making a typo. So we have to do Chiaki. This was no time for beggars to be choosers. Minoru Kawa decided to call up Chiaki. The phone rang several times before a sleepy voice finally answered. Ha! Sound only cheeky, Iso. I love it. Well... Chiaki, hey! It's Minoru Kawa. Are you free today? Huh? What? She seemed thrown by the abrupt question. Did you just wake up? Huh? No, I mean, well, yeah. Good morning. Her voice still sounded half asleep. So then I'm guessing you don't have any work slated for today, as usual. What an insult. Pretty much. No work, no money, no food. Nothing to do except sleep. I'm not awake. I can't dwell on how hungry I am. She didn't sound well. Almost like she literally didn't have anything to eat. Oh, is she, like, on the gumshoe diet? Well, I've got work for you. I'm over at 4-Star General Gossip. Get over here ASAP. What? You really mean it? That seemed to finally wake her up. Yeah, but hurry. Minoru Kawa decided he'd assign Chiaki the Shibuya Now piece. I want you to start by getting interviews off the street around Shibuya Station. Street interviews? Chiaki's voice came out as a nervous squeak. But Mr. Mino, street interviews aren't really my... Kid, you were just telling me how you can't afford to eat. Can you really afford to be picky right now? Well, I mean, I guess not. The piece is called Shibuya Now. Just interview at least 10 people and get me an article by 6 o'clock. Okay. He quickly explained the kind of interviews he was after, then hung up. Okay, I've gotten us another writer. We'll get through Toyama. Somehow. Toyama shrugged gloomily. Yeah, well, the thing is, there's actually one more problem. Are you kidding me? Minorikawa couldn't hide the irritation in his voice. What is it now? The loan company is sending a debt collector over at 4 o'clock. But as you can imagine, I don't have a single yen to give them. That's less than ideal, yeah. So what's the plan? Well, they said provisionally that if next month's issue gets published, they'll be willing to wait on repayment. Then there's no problem. The issue's coming out, guaranteed. But they're not going to take my word on that anymore. I'm going to need to prove it. If we could fill, say, half of the 12 pages by the time they show up, I could probably convince them. All right, Minorikawa said wearily. So for starters, we need 6 pages by 4 o'clock. They had to get all 12 pages done as it was. That made a perfect midpoint to shoot for. Any other problems you'd like to let me know about? No, Toyama said. No, that's all. I really am sorry about this, Minorikawa. Again, he bowed his head low. Minorikawa felt distinctly awkward. He had known Toyama for years and had never been kowtowed to like this before. Yeah, well, just let me handle it, all right? Minorikawa unfolded a map of Shibuya. The first order of business was deciding where to begin getting content. He marked the editing office with a circle, then considered where to head next. Diet drink sales demo, center guy. Where are they now? Sakura Gaoka Theater Ace. Society of Surveillance, Dokonzaka, Endo Electronics. Or Sexy Squared, Midoriyama Academy. Oh, Midoriyama Academy. A university associated with Midoriyama High School. Notable alumni include famous actress Masami Nagahama and National High School Baseball Championship winning pitcher The Tissue Prince. Okay. Its educational philosophy is summed up in its slogan, words, skill, and beauty. A very high percentage of winners of the Miss Midoriyama contest go on to careers in the entertainment industry. Shibuya Vigilantes, location to be determined. The diet drink sales demo was at 1 o'clock, and the interview with Shinosuke Orai for Where Are They Now was slated for 2:30, but those times were set. Question was what to do in the interim. Maybe he should go to Center Guy, a bit late, maybe he could go to the Dogonzaka and check out Endo Electronics. Let's go to Endo Electronics. It was a bit of a hike, but maybe he should go to Dogonzaka and check out Endo Electronics. Yeah. That should give him what he needed to put together the Society of Surveillance piece. Okay, I'm heading out. And don't even think about doing anything else. Stupid. While I'm gone. Got it. Minorikawa hustled out of the editing office, hoping Toyama would take his admonition to heart. Exiting the building, he hopped into the taxi that was waiting outside. Thanks for waiting. Can you get me to Dokonzaka ASAP? Son of a bitch. Minorikawa bristled. I beg your pardon? That son of a bitch you wanted to give a piece of your mind, sir. Was he waiting for you, like you expected? Oh yeah, this is this guy's theme song. Yeah, this guy is going to be part of the story for the entire game, pretty much. Oh yeah. Oh yeah! And I damn well did give him a piece of my mind, too. Glad to hear it, sir. The taxi sped off. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Everyone's plot lines is pretty good, but I like Minorikawa's quite a bit. Minorikawa pulled out the proposal and looked it over again. The idea for the surveillance story revolved around the claim that hidden cameras had been installed throughout Shibuya's shopping districts, upwards of 500 of them. Supposedly, these had eliminated lots of blind spots, and the crime rate in the area had dropped significantly. The cameras were managed by Daisuke Endo, the owner of Endo Electronics, and chairman of the local downtown committee. That was Minorikawa's first mission, then. He needed to get this guy's story. Scanning the side of the road, Minorikawa finally spotted a run-down electronic shop. The sign out front, which looked like it might fall off at any moment, read Endo Electronics. Right here's fine. The taxi stopped and Minoru Kawa pulled a 10,000 yen bill from his wallet. "Keep the change," he said. "What?" "Look, don't sweat it. The name's Minoru Kawa, and I'm a freelance writer. I care about two things: what's real and what's true. There's real worth to what you've done for me. That there's a token of my appreciation. It's not much, but please, take it." Minoru Kawa slid out of the taxi and headed for the electronics store. Minoru, I love he's like pointing at people on every picture. Inside, Endo Electronics looked more like a mountain of hoarded junk than an actual business. Towering piles of ancient appliances stretched toward the ceiling. Old television sets with dial knobs leaned against computers with 5-inch floppy drives. A storage medium for personal computers in production from 1976 to 2001. Magnetic discs are sheathed in paper or plastic jackets and are known for their tendency to flop around in one's hand. Technically speaking, they are 5.25 inches in diameter. Incidentally, Door, released in 1983, the debut title from this game's producer, Koichi Nakamura, was produced in a 5-inch floppy version. Well, there we go. What possible use could there be for all this outdated stuff? I can't remember when Danganronpa came out. Was that like closer to 2010? I think. Because this game was 2008. I think that's right. "Mr. Endo, are you in here?" Minoru Kawa called out. Nobody came to greet him. The shop was definitely open, though. Surely the proprietor hadn't left it unattended. "Hey, Mr. Endo! Come on! I know you're in there!" After a short wait, Minoru Kawa heard sounds from the living space behind the shop. A door opened to reveal a tired-looking, middle-aged man. "Yeah, what do you want?" "Are you Mr. Endo?" Minoru Kawa asked. "I am," the man said guardedly. "And I'm sorry, but I'm in the middle of something at the moment. Could you come back tomorrow, or..." "Please, just give me a minute. I'm a freelance writer. Name's Minoru Kawa." Minoru Kawa showed Endo his business card. "I'm writing an article for 4-Star General Gossip." "Huh. A magazine piece, huh?" "Precisely. So if I could just have a little of your time today..." The phone rang, cutting him off before he could get down to business. "I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse me for a moment." Endo reached into the clutter and pulled out a telephone. "Hello? Endo Electronics." The proprietor listened for a moment, then raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, that's a problem, all right. All right, understood. I'll try and get a hold of the customer then." Endo set the receiver back down. "What was that all about?" Minoru Kawa asked. "Oh, yesterday I sold a dry ice machine, and the manufacturer just called to let me know the model is defective." "Defective?" Apparently, once it starts making dry ice, it won't stop. I need to tell the customer I have to recall the machine and refund their deposit. Please give me a moment." Endo sifted through some sales slips, read a number off of one, and made a phone call. Nobody picked up on the other end, however. "That's right," he grumbled to himself. "He said they had some performance today." "Performance?" Minoru Kawa asked. "I sold it to a guy from some theater troupe. They're called the Wandering Angels or something." Wandering Angels, a theater troupe run by Shinosuke Orai. This afternoon, at 5:30 p.m., they are performing their 22nd piece, Au Revoir. Right now, all of the actors are already at the theater, except for Akiyami Mondo, who plays the rival of the main character, Ryu. The angry production chief has sent his assistant to Mondo's apartment, but he does not yet know what awaits him there. Continued in the Tale of the Wandering Angels, Episode 2. 6 episodes in all. The Wandering Angels? That was Shinosuke Orai's theater troupe. Minoru Kawa had an interview with him booked for 2:30. "Anyhow, what can I do for you?" Minoru Kawa hastily explained what he was after. Endo gave him a dubious look. "As I said earlier, I'm a bit busy right now." "Busy cleaning up, I hope. How do you get anything done in this mess? Why, are you this rude to all your interview subjects?" 5 minutes! Just give me 5 minutes of your time! Please! You've got to be joking. Go on, get the hell out of here. Edo headed for his back room in a huff. "Fine. And I'll just have to write about what you already told me. Namely, that Endo Electronics sells defective merchandise." "Huh? Just what are you implying?" Did you or did you not sell that theater troupe a defective piece of equipment? Look, I'm gonna get in touch with them as soon as... I'm betting they're in a hurry preparing for their performance. I doubt you'll be getting through to them today. Endo bit his lip. Now that I have your attention, Minorikawa said, let's make a deal. What kind of deal? I'm meeting with a member of the Wandering Angels a little later today. I can let them know about the dry ice machine for you. In exchange, all you have to do is give me my interview. Endo scowled. And where's your proof that you'll be meeting with the Wandering Angels? I might take advantage of a guy when he's down, Minorikawa replied, but one thing I'm not is a liar. The shopkeeper took a few minutes to think about it. Fine, he grumbled. 5 minutes, that's all you get. Minorikawa whipped his notepad out of his coat like he was drawing a gun. Then let's get down to it, shall we? Go right ahead. So I hear that over 500 surveillance cameras have been installed throughout Shibuya shopping districts. Yes, that's right. Why so many? We used to have a lot of delinquents in town. Delinquents, young people who act rowdy or cause trouble, often at arcades or convenience store parking lots, and who frequently resort to petty theft and other mischief, also referred to in more outmoded terms as ruffians or hoodlums. Endo said the word with marked distaste. Oh yeah, I remember there being some problem kids around. They were real punks. They vandalized my signs, made a mess of my storehouse. They were just awful. I see. Minorikawa scribbled hastily, or diligently, in his notepad. Heck, my own son put together a sort of vigilante squad to help teach those punks a lesson. Wait, vigilante squad? Whoa, hold up right there for a sec. Minorikawa jutted out his hand to interrupt. This guy's son was part of the vigilante squad? What a stroke of luck! Maybe he could also provide some info for the article on the gangs of Shibuya. Sorry, I don't mean to get too far off topic here, but could you tell me the name of this group your son belongs to? They call themselves SOS. SOS. Originally, a group of well-meaning young people who would get together downtown as a sort of vigilante squad, trying to keep Shibuya clean and safe. In those days, the group never engaged in theft or other criminal activities. More recently, however, SOS has become one of the biggest gangs in Shibuya, resorting into defacing public property with graffiti, shoplifting, and shaking people down for cash. They prided themselves on being the top gang in Shibuya and all that. The top gang in Shibuya? Did I really just hit the jackpot right here? Not to pat myself on the back, but go me. All I have to do now is step outside and the story finds me. I think I might be a natural at this. As it happens, I'd also like to interview people from SOS. Would you be able to put me in touch with your son? Yeah, sure, but you should know that my son isn't in the gang anymore. Ah. Well, well, well. I think it's time to jump to Achi. There we go. So literally right now, they're on the bench. Got it. He told me, look. There it was. The blue van. A blue van had appeared nearby, parked in a spot that had been emptied previously. Achi couldn't see who was inside, but there was definitely something fishy about it. Besides, there weren't any other blue cars around, so this had to be it. He'd been right. The crooks had come back after all. I'm gonna go take a look, quick, Achi said. You wait here. But, before he could carry out his plan, Hitomi jumped to her feet. Without a word, she rushed toward the van. Hold on! I said wait! She wasn't slowing down. Achi got hold of her arm. Wait! This could be dangerous. What if the kidnapper's in there? What if my sister's in there? I have to go help her. Achi knew full well what it was like to be impulsive, but this was one situation where cooler heads would have to prevail. We can't just hang out here, she insisted. What if the car takes off again? That's why I said I was going to go take a look first. But isn't that dangerous? What if they do something to my sister because some random guy's snooping around? Oh, yeah, you got a point. Achi thought as fast as he could. The criminal told Hitomi to get into the van. There had to be some specific reason for that. What if they were planning to abduct her as well? Whatever the case, he couldn't just let her go. He had to make a snap decision. Let's see. Let's go together. Let's go together instead of going separate. Okay. Let's go together then. Does that work for you? Please. We have no idea who or what we might run into. Hitomi gave a slight nod. All right, she said. But let me go first and you follow, okay? Got it, Hachi replied. Wait, is this when the van explodes? I think it is. Hachi waited as Hitomi started walking, then followed her at a distance so it wouldn't look like they were together. She headed straight for the van. Two men got out of the car, neither of them Japanese. Hachi picked up his pace in case he needed to close the distance fast. One of the men approached Hitomi and said something to her. She gave an affirming nod. Suddenly, the two men grabbed her from either side. They dragged her to the van and shoved her into the back seat. Hachi broke into a sprint. Of course, it was a trap! He couldn't guess what their whole plan was, but kidnapping Hitomi was obviously part of it. But before he could reach the vehicle, the door slid shut. The van sped off an instant later. Hachi raced after it. Ran as hard as he could, thinking of nothing else. He couldn't give up now. Couldn't let things end like this. He'd made a promise. No quitting halfway. And no turning his back on someone in trouble. But the car kept getting further and further away. Before long, it was just a blue speck that vanished into the cityscape. No! Hachi never saw Hitomi again. And is this an end that is bad? Yep, there it is. Bad end. Number 10, lost sight of the van. Hachi did try to warn Hitomi that checking out the van by herself was dangerous, and oh look, she got herself kidnapped. It's a sassy hint. Maybe he should have put his foot down and checked on things for himself first. Yeah. Put those pants on, Hachi. Alright, we'll do it. Make a snap decision. Look, let me just, Look, just let me go first. I don't want to put you at any risk. Hitomi's determination wavered at the look in Hachi's eyes. Please, he continued. We have no idea who or what we might run into. If I think they're going to try to run off again, I'll give some signal. Then you can come along, and I doubt they'll be interested in leaving then. Hitomi gave a reluctant nod. Please be careful. Will do. And tell me if my sister's in there. I will. You can count on it. Hachi stepped out into the open and started walking toward the van. He tried his best to look as if he wasn't paying any attention. Yep, I am just an ordinary passerby. As he got nearer, he tried to sneak a glimpse inside. The van's dark window film made it hard to see who might be inside, or even how many people. Casually, he moved closer still to get a better look. Oh no! Suddenly, the sliding doors burst open and several people jumped out. None of them were Japanese. Within moments, Hachi was surrounded. Whoa, what? Hey, what's the deal? Hachi said. He let out a chuckle. Man, that thing must be packed. How many seats you got in that thing anyway? He took another step toward the vehicle and looked inside. One of the men pulled a knife from inside his jacket, thrusting it out in Hachi's direction. He'd probably meant it as a simple threat, but on reflex, Hachi went into self-defense mode, kicking him right in the jaw. There was a loud crack as his foot connected. The man dropped out like a light. The other stared, then rushed him. Well, this sure hadn't gone as planned. Too late to take it back now. The damage was done. Hachi was just going to have to take out the rest of these punks, too. He nimbly shifted his feet, evading their initial attack. Having to take these guys on 3-1 wasn't going to be pretty. Hachi! He heard Hitomi cry out. Crap. He hadn't given any signal, but she had come out of hiding anyway. Hitomi, stay back! How was he supposed to fight off 3 guys and protect her at the same time? Yeah, time to take out the trash. What could he do? What should he do? Oh no. Within moments, a number of passers-by had gathered around the fight. Maybe they'd heard Hitomi shouting. Hey, what's going on? Oh, is that a knife? This ain't just some petty squabble. Someone called the police! Some of them began taking photos with their cell phones. One of the men cursed in frustration, then signaled for his buddies to get back into the car. Hachi couldn't stop them. The engine roared to life and the van sped away. Knowing he'd never catch them on foot, Hachi merely watched it go. He'd failed. This was his fault. All of it. Achi bit his lip hard. How could he possibly face Hitomi now? Achi. Hitomi's voice was hollow, empty. Achi stared down at his feet like a scolded child. I'm sorry. I didn't see whether your sister was in there or not. I see. The words, so simple and matter-of-fact, stunning him to the heart. I'm so sorry. But Hitomi simply shook her head. The fact that she wasn't even chewing him out made him feel all the worse. I know I messed up, but He was going to say, I'll make it up for it, somehow, but he froze with fear at what he saw next. Oh no! Across the street, staring at them, was the man with the cane. Hitomi, it's him! They had to get out of here. He grabbed Hitomi by the hand and bolted down Dogonzaka. The assassin followed, staying on his side of the road. Achi wasn't sure what to do. Should they try heading into the alleys and side streets again? No, it was more dangerous to head someplace where there'd be fewer witnesses. Best to stick to Dogonzaka for now. The man wouldn't be able to gun them down if they managed to lose themselves in the crowd along Center Guy first. Besides, the guy had to use a cane. Achi and Hitomi could outrun him. Hand in hand, they sped along Dogonzaka and through the intersection in front of the 109 building. Come on, Hitomi, just a little further. Okay. She was panting, but she pressed on. Achi risked a glance back over his shoulder. Huh? He stopped in surprise. What's wrong? Hitomi asks. A familiar man in the background on his phone over there. That guy. He's not following us. The slope leading down to the intersection wasn't all that steep. Intersection. Several plainclothes detectives had been hiding amidst the crowd in the intersection as part of the kidnapping stakeout. Right now, Director Kuze is sending a message to all officers over the wireless, and so the detectives have stopped to listen in. It's a bit unusual. An observant individual might notice. It was strange that the gunman hadn't bothered to pursue. Still, there was no time to worry about his behavior right now. Hitomi, can you still run? Yes, I'm alright. Then this is our chance. This way. They needed to put plenty of distance behind them before the assassin came after them again. But they also needed to find the van again and rescue Hitomi's sister. Would they be able to find it and yet stay hidden from the man with the cane? Achi wasn't sure one way or the other, but with Hitomi in tow, he hurried onward along Center Guy. To be continued? Yep, I knew it. I had a feeling. In my bones! Alright. Alright. So, we've got Minorikawa. Osawa has been freed up. Tama's freed up. Okay. And Achi is to be continued. Kano is to be continued. Okay. So, hang on. I'm going to take a super quick break, and then we are going to resume. So, hang on just a second. I have returned. Let's go. Okay. So who should we get? We got Tama, we got Osawa, we got Minorikawa. Let's get Minor. He's nearly done. Let's get Minorikawa finished. Well, Sun, yeah, sure. Sun isn't in the gang anymore. Oh, Minorikawa hesitated. Guess he's of no use to me then. Oh, believe me, I know how you feel. Ouch. Ouch. A slam from Dad. The look on Endo's face spoke volumes. There was no point in interviewing Endo's son if he wasn't with the gang anymore. It figured that Minorikawa's run of good luck would end eventually. Still, he'd gotten a lead in the form of a name, SOS. That was progress. Alright, so back to the matter at hand. He flipped his notepad back open. What did you decide to do about all those juvenile delinquents? I set up a tiny little web camera in order to protect my property. A web camera. Camera is designed to send video information to a computer via the internet. Look carefully, and you can often spot them outside private residences, even on public streets. They are installed for use in surveillance. Given the risks of transmitted data being intercepted, the images recorded by such cameras are generally encrypted to prevent playback by unauthorized third parties. Many landmarks and attractions make their camera footage publicly available online. I see. And I'm guessing the webcam did the trick? Sure did. And so then other local businesses had heard about it and started asking me to install some for them. Web cameras aren't particularly expensive, so it wasn't too tough to set them up all over downtown. So who's in charge of these security cameras? Members of the downtown business committee take turns. The cameras are connected via a wireless network that business owners can access throughout the area. A wireless network, a LAN or local area network, a communication system that can only be used within a limited geographical area. A wireless LAN transmits using electronic signals, although convenient because it does not require cable attachments. There is a risk of signals conveyed in this way being intercepted by a third party. How's your security for this wireless network? Oh, no problems on that front. Endo seems surprised at the question. All of the footage sent over the network is fully encrypted. Encrypted. Encryption is the process of encoding data so that it is indecipherable by a third party. Restoring encrypted data to its initial form requires what is called a key, a program designed for this purpose. There are two main types of such cryptographic systems. Secret key crypto systems use the same key for both encryption and decryption. Public key crypto systems use a public key to encrypt the data, but require a private key known by the recipient in order to decrypt. There you go. But still, people can't feel too good about being recorded on a camera without their knowledge, don't you think? Minorikawa asked. The shopkeeper's expression darkened. We hope to strike a balance between crime prevention and protecting individual privacy. Uh-huh. And who determines what that balance is? Minorikawa let a note of challenge slip into his voice. That would be me. I've been entrusted with the management of the security cameras. I see. That angle, I love it. So essentially, you're providing your own moral oversight. Are you implying that I'm abusing my authority? Endo shot back. I am the Senate. I'm doing this in the name of public order. Right, you've had your 5 minutes, now get out of here. The shopkeeper stood up and headed into the back. I'll be sure to let the Wandering Angels know about the dry ice machine. Minorikawa hollered at the closing door. The Wandering Angels, Episode 2. When Akiomi Mondo didn't show up at the theater at the meetup time, production assistant Yukio Tozuka went to call on him at the apartment. Upon arriving, Tozuka found that the place had been staked out by debt collectors. Mondo had borrowed 300,000 yen, and they wouldn't leave his home until he paid up. It looked like the only way to save Mondo was to give the debt collectors the operating funds for the theater. But before Tozuka could head back to relay the news, the props master, Shinichi Mondo, showed up. Continued in Episode 3. Endo didn't reply. Minorikawa had gotten enough of a story to put an article together. so he decided to hurry to a coffee shop and get started on some coffee. He was making his way down along Dogonzaka when his cell phone rang. The incoming call displayed showed Chiaki's name. Chiaki, what's going on? Sound only. Oh, it's no use. She said it like she was on the verge of tears. What's no use? I can't do this. I just can't talk to people passing by on the street. What? Why not? It's just that everyone seems so busy when they're walking past. If I try to interrupt them, they're gonna be all mad at me. Well, who the hell cares if they get mad? Minorukawa was ready to start ripping his own hair out. I don't want them to be mad at me, she whimpered again. Well, this wasn't about what she wanted, was it? She was supposed to be working, not whining. Look, Chicky, you need to get me those interviews, period. Do I make myself clear? He hung up before she could squeeze in an objection. Damn it, Minorukawa muttered. Just what I needed is one more thing to worry about. He pulled at his hair a few times, then cast his worried gaze in the direction of Shibuya Station. To be continued. When we get to noon. Alright, so we have 3 to be continued, so we just need to finish Osawa and Tama. Let's get Osawa going a little bit more. Osawa called up Tanaka. Okay. So we got this like whole scene again, I guess, that he got game overed on before. I'm greatly enjoying this game so far. Again, I mean, it's been 3 years, so my my full memory of what the plot's fully about is a little bit hazy. I remember some of the key points, so there is some stuff that's kind of cleverly laced in here that I'm seeing that is referencing stuff that happens later. But yeah, this is pretty cool. This is just such a unique idea for a game, I think. Tanaka gave a slight nod. Alright, don't worry. Right there. Tanaka left the study. Okay. Alright, now he's not gonna get an email from Minorukawa telling him to come to the station, or to the business place where he is going to look at the sunset and spend some time having like a quiet moment of contemplation. Single. 2,000 in an hour. Nothing short of a not. Yeah. Ebola virus, the T virus, the T abyss virus, the G virus, the Ouroboros virus. I'm trying to list off all the Resident Evil viruses. What am I missing, guys? None of my Resident Evil lore masters are in the chat. So, but yeah, viruses upon viruses. Duty to protect people from a killer virus. Right. Okay, here we go. Another email arrived in his inbox. The sender, A. It was not Minorukawa this time. The subject line, 1 year ago, South Africa. Again. Osawa read the message. Do not look away. These are your crimes. This time, there were 4 images attached. Osawa proceeded to open each of them in turn. The first shocked Osawa so much that he felt like he'd been punched in the head. One of the Ua patients from the earlier images was being injected with something. No, Osawa muttered to himself. Can't be. The second image showed one of the infected hunched over in pain, vomiting up blood. The symptoms had already manifested, but Osawa thought he could see that some degree of life had come back into the patient's eyes. He rushed to open the third image. It showed a morgue piled high with corpses. The rictus of anguish on the dead faces made them look no longer human. Various fluids seeped from the eyes and nostrils. The lymph nodes were grotesquely swollen. The lymph nodes, small organs that function as part of the lymphatic system in mammals. When a foreign system invades the body, the lymph nodes detect it, prompting the production of white blood cells, such as lymphocytes and macrophages, to consume the invader. Viral infection sometimes causes the lymph nodes to swell up as a result of increased activity. There were hospital beds stained with massive amounts of blood and gastric fluids. Next came the fourth and final image. More corpses. They had badges affixed to their chests with various labels. 6 hours passed, 12 hours passed, and 18 hours passed. It looked as if someone had been attempting live trials with the antiviral agent. Osawa didn't consider the antiviral agent ready for release, but that was because his team hadn't conducted clinical trials on humans yet. And there was a good reason why such trials hadn't been conducted. There was no way to test the efficacy of the drug without an infected patient. To run a proper clinical test, someone would first need to be affected with the UA virus. No matter how effective animal testing had been, if the drug proved ineffective on humans, that person would have a guaranteed death sentence. It was unthinkable to run trials that involved such a deadly risk. And yet, as he looked over the images again and again, Osawa became certain. Without his knowledge, someone, presumably someone, from Makoshi Pharmaceutical, had conducted human testing with the antiviral agent. The time markers on the corpses in the fourth image were surely there to mark the time elapsed since the onset of symptoms. A thorough trial would test the drug's effectiveness in those time frames. Osawa slammed his fist on the desk and raged. This was nothing short of vile human experimentation in the guise of clinical testing. The people responsible could not be allowed to get away with this. There was only one person Osawa could trust to keep this under wraps. His boss, Makino. He reached for his phone to call Makino. But he stopped short as soon as he picked up the receiver. He knew he was in no state of mind to have a calm, reasoned conversation right now. Turning to the CD player, he put on Aya Kamiki's latest album. Leaning back in his chair, he surrendered himself to her soothing tones. Bit by bit, he could feel himself returning to a calmer emotional state. There had been a time when Osawa hadn't listened to music at all. In fact, he'd had no interest in the arts in general, music, painting, cinema. It was only due to a simple coincidence that he had found Aya Kamiki. His daughter had asked for a CD as a birthday present, so he'd swung by the store to pick one up. Since Kamiki's new album had just come out, there was a display for it in the front of the shop. Something about the bright, colorful album packaging had drawn him in. After a while, Osawa could feel himself growing calmer. He took a nice, deep breath. He closed his eyes, tried to banish his nerves, or he dialed up. He closed his eyes. First he took a nice deep breath, then he closed his eyes and tried to banish his nerves completely. Inclining his head toward the music, he could feel the melody pervade his body. He could scarcely believe that there had been a time when he hadn't cared about music. Surely something that had such a strong effect on the body and mind alike also conveyed a deeper meaning. Osawa let the positive energy flow through him, buoying his spirits. At last, when his mood had sufficiently calmed under the music's influence, Osawa reached for the handset. Oh, Mr. Osawa, did you have to make a phone call? The study door had opened and a stolid-faced man had appeared in the doorway. It was Yoshio Kajiwara, one of the detectives from the Shibuya precinct. Yoshio Kajiwara, a detective with the Shibuya Precinct's Criminal Investigation Division. He is sociable but awkward, and despite his reserved personality, he can be quite unsettling. His colleagues at the precinct refer to him by nicknames such as Japanese Columbo and Little Ken Takakura, given his own quirky demeanor as a detective. If you remember, at the beginning of the game, there was a clip of Kano with a bunch of other detectives, and there was a guy eating banana. That was Yoshio here. He struck Osawa as a bit too soft-spoken and meek for a detective, really. And his treatment of the kidnapping case gave an impression of flighty detachment that made him seem rather undependable. No, it's nothing important. Osawa drew his hand back from the phone. Have there been any developments, Detective? Kajiwara shook his head apologetically. I'm sorry to bother you, but when you're finished in here, would you be so kind as to come to the living room? All right, Osawa said quietly. I'll only be a little while longer. Kajiwara nodded and departed. He took a nice deep breath and then he dialed up Makino. Has there been any progress? Makino asked as he picked up. His voice was somber. No, Osawa said. Nothing much yet. A tiny sigh came in from the other end of the line. I see. Then what can I do for you? Sir, I'll just get right to the point. Have you conducted clinical trials using the antiviral drug? Makino didn't respond right away. What makes you think that? He asked at last. Man, that's a suspicious statement. When somebody responds with that... yeah. Osawa described the emails he'd received. When he'd finished, Makino let out his breath in surprise. Not over the phone, he said. We'll discuss this in person. I'll head over to your place when I'm done here. As soon as possible, sir. As soon as I can manage, Makino said. You're not the only person who's busy. Are you the bad guy? Why do you ask? Yeah, that's how I... Yes! With that, Makino hung up. There was no doubt about it then. There had been human testing. Osawa went to let oh my gosh. Osawa went to let Tanaka know he'd be meeting with Makino. Kajiwara stood in the hallway. Like a scene from Twin Peaks. He looked like he'd been waiting there the whole time for Osawa to come out of the study. Are you hungry? He asked. Here. I've got something that's good for when you're tired. Kajiwara then slipped a hand into his suit pocket. He pulled out a banana. Banana. A fruit belonging to family Musaceae, genus Musa. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, was a huge lover of bananas, and the peanut butter and banana sandwich is said to have been his favorite. If a banana peel is dropped under even remotely comedic circumstances, there is a high chance that someone will eventually slip on it. I'm fine, thanks, Osawa said. Kajiwara seemed to lack a detective's sense of situational awareness. Just being around him got on Osawa's nerves. Well, sir, I need you to come with me, the detective said, if you don't mind. He took Osawa by the arm. As Kajiwara hurried him toward the living room, Osawa could hear other detectives talking on the other side of the door. He's working at a time like this? Seriously? Sheesh. I do not get rich people in their priorities. I feel bad for his daughter. Her dad's a real piece of work. Nice. They were bad-mouthing him in his own house. Oh, I'm really sorry about all that, Kajiwara said, pausing in embarrassment. Osawa pushed past him and opened the door. A number of police detectives had holed up in the living room. They went suddenly silent as Osawa entered. So, tell me, he said sarcastically, would you rather I stay here weeping as I watch this disaster unfold? The detectives winced and grimaced. Forgive me for not being a perfect father, he added, his hostility building. Kajiwara stepped forward to intervene before things got out of hand. Now, let's not be touchy. I am not being touchy, Osawa snapped. But he knew full well that he was. These guys had the time to sit around backbiting him, but not to go out and bring Maria to safety. Already close to half a day had gone by without any new developments. The ransom demand had come in the previous night at 8 o'clock. Maria had been abducted roughly an hour before. Oh, flashback. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. by Hachiko in Shibuya. Have the sister Hitomi bring 50 million yen. If not, the girl's life is forfeit. The kidnapper called only once, so the police were unable to run a trace. I'll do it, Hitomi said. Anything for my sister. She didn't hesitate in the slightest at the suggestion that she make the ransom handoff. Osawa was staunchly opposed to the idea, but the police were of the opinion that it was better to acquiesce to the kidnapper's demands. Ai's reaction, on the other hand, baffled nearly everyone. Oops. We don't have 50 million just lying around. Are the police going to be putting that together for us? Kajiwara stepped in to reassure her. If it comes down to it, the police will be able to help raise the money. Okay, go ahead then, do it. We'd need you to pay it back afterwards, though, of course. Well, then what's the point of that? Ai's voice spiked up to a piercing shriek. Calm down, Osawa told her. You're making a scene. I turned away in a huff. It's all right, Detective. Osawa continued. I'll talk to the bank first thing tomorrow and figure something out. At that, I stormed out of the room. Kajiwara bowed his head several times in apology. As soon as Itomi has made contact, we'll apprehend the suspect and take things from there. What? Hold on. Won't that put Maria in danger? If we let the kidnapper get away with the money, we have no proof that he will return the hostage safely afterwards. There was a certain logic there, Osawa had to concede. I see, he said. So you're saying that catching this guy will be easier for you if he keeps my daughter hostage? No, that's not what I was implying at all. Kajiwara wiped the sweat off his brow and bowed profusely. At least I promise we'll get your daughter back safe and sound, Mr. Osawa. Obviously, there was nothing to be gained from further challenging the detectives. All right, then. I'll let the police do their job. Osawa bowed even lower than Kajiwara had. How long are you going to just loaf around? I shrieked as she stormed into the room. Hurry up and arrest this guy! She was becoming increasingly hysterical. An hour had passed since the suspect had taken the money, yet the police had made no effort to apprehend him. The police apparently had a rule against discussing an operation before it was fully resolved, and so the Osawas had been left in the dark. But they had overheard the task force talking over the wireless, and it appeared that they were deliberately letting the suspect roam free. Hey! I snapped again. If he gets away with our money, you are going to reimburse us, right? Osawa scowled. She made it sound like the money was more important than Maria's life. The detectives exchanged uneasy glances. Osawa chided his wife, or Osawa said nothing? Chide! Osawa chided his wife. It's only money. It doesn't matter. Only money? Are you serious? Do you have any idea how much we're talking about here? The ferocity in her voice left him with no response. He should have known better than to expect her to make sacrifices for his daughters. By now, he was accustomed to Ai's coldness toward the two girls. The twins were Osawa's daughters from his first wife, who had passed away 15 years ago. Ai had no blood ties to Maria or Hitomi herself. Well, I continued, are the police going to reimburse us or not? That is such a severe woman. She glared pointedly at Kajiwara. Well, right now we're focused on making sure Maria is safe. I stormed up to him, shouting right in his face. Stop dodging the question! Answer me! Yes, of course. Kajiwara squeaked. Maybe, would you like something to eat to help you calm down? He held out a banana. I smacked it out of his hand. Oh dear. What a waste. Kajiwara scrambled to retrieve the fruit from the floor. Osawa went over to Tanaka and whispered into his ear. I'm going to meet with Mr. Makino. Tanaka nodded silently. Turning, Osawa saw Kajiwara looking in their direction. They made eye contact, but Osawa quickly looked away and strode out of the room. Kajiwara followed after him. Excuse me, Mr. Osawa? Yes, what is it? The detective fussed sheepishly with his hair and forced a smile. Sir, we'd appreciate if you could remain in the living room as much as possible. Osawa was in no mood to stand on propriety. Look, I've got a ton of work to do, he said. Are you here to tell me to play the role of the grieving father, too? No, not at all. Personally, I happen to think you're an admirable father, Mr. Osawa. Admirable. Did the word have a ring of sarcasm? He had no way to tell if Kajiwara was being forthright with him or not. That guy is very unsettling. You're no ordinary fellow, Mr. Osawa. You're a genius. A genius? Me? Osawa made a skeptical noise. Am I mistaken, sir? You've made very important strides in the field of virus research, so I've been told. Osawa wasn't sure how to respond. He had never considered himself a genius. He was just someone who was more interested in viruses than he was in other people. Everyone who's a genius is also a little bit odd, after all, Kajiwara went on. Probably he'd intended that as a compliment, but still. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with weirdos. So long as they leave us ordinary folk alone, you know? Is this guy trying to praise me or insult me? Osawa let out a heavy sigh. Genius, weirdo. What did it even matter? So long as he could be left to his work. He didn't care one whit how he looked in other people's eyes. Kajiwara wiped the sweat off of his forehead with a handkerchief. By the way, what are you working on right now? He asked. I'm afraid you wouldn't understand even if I explained it to you, Sawa replied. Right. Precisely. Even if I gave it my full attention, it would still be beyond me. He peered with sudden intensity at Osawa's face. Ah! I'd appreciate if you didn't hide things from me, sir, he said. Osawa gasped, at a loss for words. There you go. You can get the text out. You can get a nice good look at him. Oh, I can brighten things too. That's fun. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kajiwara added hurriedly. Goodness. That made it sound like I'm accusing you of hiding something, didn't it? The detective bowed his head repeatedly. He really is Columbo. I hope you'll forgive me. He held out the banana. That won't be necessary. How about this, then? This time he pulled a bar of chocolate from his pocket. No, thank you. This guy just carried an endless food supply wherever he went? Oh my, Kajiwara murmured. You geniuses really are tough to sort out. He inclined his head, mumbling to himself for a moment. What can I get for you then, sir? What I'd really like is some time by myself. In a daze of exasperation, Osawa felt his way to his study. Locking the door, he finally let out the breath he'd been holding. Then his eyes alighted on the bookshelf against the wall. Ah. He pulled out a photo album and began to flip through it. There were pictures of his daughter's grade school enrollment ceremony. Their mother had already passed away from illness, so Osawa had taken the girls himself. He remembered that. After the ceremony, Hitomi had come down with a fever. Hitomi had been rather sickly as a girl, falling bedridden at the drop of a hat. Maria, by contrast, had been lively and energetic, quite the handful. Osawa had found it remarkable that their personalities could be so different, despite them being twins. He flipped further into the album. There was a picture of the three of them at their grade school graduation. Maria was looking away from the camera. Osawa felt like someone had stabbed a dagger in his heart. His daughters or virology? Which truly concerned him more? Which did he truly love? It was ridiculous to try to compare the two. He'd known the answer before he even asked himself. Even so, human emotions were complicated and sometimes made people act inconsistently. One of the consequences of that was this photo album. This was the last photo he had of Maria. He searched and searched through the rest of the album, but she was nowhere else to be found. To be continued. All right. Nice. Well, let's see if we can get Tama finished up here, too. We have... Yeah, let's do it. We got enough time. Hoping Inagashita... It'll be okay. Whether or not it helps you lose weight, it is spicy, and it does make you sweat. I'm not sure I follow, Chiri says. How much are you selling these bottles for, boss? 15,000 yen per bottle. Selling all 300 bottles would yield proceeds of 4.5 million yen after deducting expenses, such as the cost of the product, rental fee for the venue, pay for the part-timers, and printing flyers. This yields a net profit of roughly 2.5 million yen. It's doubtful that anyone would pay 15,000 yen for a single small bottle, but you never know. There could be a few housewives or young women out there who'd fork out that much in the name of weight loss. A terrifying thought. I love the economic commentary. What? Chiri's jaw practically hits the floor. Mine does the same. No way. Nuh-uh. No freaking way. Calling that price point absurd wouldn't begin to do it justice. Well, look, selling at that price is my only option. I need to cover my costs. Anyway, please, I need you both to work your hardest. Apparently, he's committed to this insane course of action. Okay, Chiri replies. It's more like a sigh than a proper response, but I can't blame her. As for me, I can't even find the words. Just sit there and speak up. Isn't this just a scam? That's it, yeah. I can't just sit there and not speak up. Isn't this just a scam, sir? Sorry, can't hear ya. Yanagishita plays dumb. Fine, I repeat myself. This is a scam, isn't it? He tilts his head to one side. Something's wrong with my ear. Undeterred, I repeat myself once more. This is a scam, isn't it? Tears are welling up in Mr. Yanagishita's eyes. Look, kid, he says huskily, listen up. He's clearly struggling to maintain his calm. You're in the grown-ups world now. I nod a few times. But a scam is still a scam, right? I say. You! Sir? What's your name again? Oh, it's Tama. Okay, Tama. Why are you still wearing your costume? What? He straight up dodged my question. Oh well. At least I tried. I explained the situation with my suit. Wow, so then, are you gonna do the sales demo like that? Well, if I can't take the mascot costume off, I don't have much of a choice, do I? No, that won't do at all. I hired you to be a model. If you're wearing that thing, then what's the point? I'm at a loss for words. The point is exactly what he's missing. It's not like I'm wearing this getup because I want to. How about we just cut it off, yeah? Chiri says with a big grin. There we go, another creepy face. She pulls a massive pair of scissors out of her bag. The blades make an unsettling snip-snap sound as she waggles them in my face. Oh no, I got the clock tower, woo-woo-woo-woo-woo-woo-woo-woo sound going. Whoa, no you can't do that! Yanagishita exclaims. That suit's a rental! I don't want to have to reimburse them for the thing. Well then, what am I supposed to do? I ask. He looks at me uncertainly. Maybe you could have someone from the rental place come down, Chiri suggests, before helping herself to the rest of my lunch. Oh hey, good idea, Yanagishita says. He seems to be making an effort to calm himself down at least. Just try to grin and bear it until then, Tama. Well, I guess that's that then. I'm sure we'll get it off eventually, I say. Hopefully before the demo. That's the spirit. I really need you to be my model. A model, huh? It's flattering, but I can't help but wonder. Would I be any good at that? Well, this is no time to be timid. I need that money, no matter what. My troubles all started earlier this morning. Oh, we're gonna get her the deep lore on Tama now. I was at a knick-knack shop on Center Guy. I'd happened to pass by, and I spotted a red necklace on display in the storefront, and I got this weird sensation when I saw it. You could maybe call it deja vu? Something like that. It was if I'd been drawn to it somehow. This was mine. I was sure of it. I wanted it. No, I needed to make it mine as soon as I possibly could. That's how strong the feeling was. The price was 40,000 yen. I checked my wallet repeatedly, but I only had 20,000 on me. Nonetheless, I needed to have it. There was just one question. How? Somehow I managed to drag myself away from the shop. Just a few minutes later, I ran into Mr. Yanagishita. Hey! A voice said out of nowhere. If you want, I can pay you 10,000 for a day's work. I found myself staring at this frumpy, middle-aged man who was handing me his business card. Managing Director, Junichi Yanagishita, Yamato Health Foods Co., Limited. I'm in a real bind here. Need some extra help. Would you mind coming with me? I'm begging you, just one day. He seemed pretty sketchy. As much as I needed money for that necklace, I wasn't going anywhere with some random weirdo. I ignored him and tried to walk off. Please! Please! Yanagishita grabbed me by the hand. Watch it, pal, I snapped. Hands off or I start shouting for help. Please, it's not like that. Just hear me out. Look, I'm in a hurry. Please! 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 Knock it off! I spun forcefully away from him, yanking my hand from his grip. Oof! Yanagishita whirled through the air and fell into the bushes. Whoa! Where'd that come from? He gasped. His eyes were wide as saucers. You a martial artist or something? No, I think that was just a fluke. The truth was, I was surprised myself at how well I'd pulled off that escape move. Okay then, look, I'm sorry. Can you give me a hand? No way. No, I mean, give me your hand. My hip's killing me here. Ow, 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 ow. I guess. Least I could do was help the guy to his feet. Look, why are you hounding me so much? Please, don't be angry. The moment I saw you, I just felt it. You're the only person who could possibly do this job for me. I let out a sigh, but my interest was admittedly piqued. What kind of job? I need a sales rep for a health supplement. I want you to do PR as a dieting success story for my product. Just look at you. You have the body of an actress. Sales are going to go up through the roof. Well, it was hard to feel too offended when he told me that. The job didn't seem as fishy as I'd initially suspected. All right, maybe I'm interested, I said. There's just one thing. Yeah? Whatever it is, I'm sure I can handle it. I need 20,000 yen as soon as possible. So if the day only pays 10,000... Alrighty then. If you can sell 100 bottles at our sales event, I'll throw in another 10,000 as a bonus. How's that sound? I certainly couldn't think of any other way I was going to earn 20,000 yen in a single day. This might be exactly the break I needed. You've got a deal. You have my services for this day, I said, bowing my head. Yes! Yanagishita jumped for joy. What about your hip? Huh? Oh yeah, it's better now. All better. Fixed itself just now. The animation, that's amazing. Yanagishita bowed deeply as I gave him a dubious look. Look, I'm sorry, he added hurriedly. I wasn't trying to pull a fast one on you, honest. I was just scouting for talent, and I saw you, and, well... Was trusting this guy really the best idea? I was starting to worry, just a little, about whether he'd actually pay up. Look, I've staked everything on this sales demo later today, he went on. This is the make-or-break opportunity of a lifetime. Sure. I'll be honest with you. I'm in a ton of debt. 2 million yen. 2 million! Yanagishita's tone had taken on a feverish intensity. If I don't pay it back by the end of the day, then boy howdy, am I up the creek without a paddle. How did you even get into a situation like that? I asked. He gazed skyward, a far-off look in his eyes. Because even if he knows he has no chance of winning, sometimes a man just has to stand and fight. But I guess a girl like you wouldn't understand. He laughed and smiled at his own words, but he was right. I sure as heck didn't understand in the slightest. Anyway, real quick, could you put this on? Mr. Yanagishita briskly rummaged through his bundle, then thrust a cat costume out toward me. What? Here? Yeah! Before the sales event, you've got to hand out some samples. Handing out some samples. The burning hammer in the sample bottles is cut 10 parts to 1 with water. Even so, it is intensely spicy, and drinking it on an empty stomach is sure to cause gastrointestinal distress, or even make the drinker black out. It's hard to believe that a sample of something so dangerous would win over any customers, but you never know. There could be housewives or young women out there who'd accept such a risk in the name of weight loss. Another terrifying thought. Oh yeah, this is great. The job's already started, you know. And with that, Mr. Yanagishita went about getting me into the mascot suit. Looking back on it, it was a pretty ridiculous turn of events. Still, if I was going to get my hands on that necklace, I had to take the chance that this job would pay out. I doubt we're going to be able to sell a single bottle of this crap, Cheery whispers in my ear. I'll just have to do the best I can, I say. I say it more to myself than to anyone else. Once again, I ask myself, why am I in such rush to get this necklace anyway? I honestly don't know. It's the strangest thing. I try my hardest to think of a reason, but all I get is a dull, aching throb at the back of my head. It's the same pain I felt earlier, as if I've gotten a good bonk on the head or something. Interesting. So she was hit at some point? Oh, to be continued. And that, friends, is a perfect spot to conclude after we get our little, noon cutscene. But let's do that first. Here we go. Once she's dead, you'll understand. He's right back where we started. Buddy, you're a weirdo. Eels and I are one and the same. Please keep this email a secret. We are into noon to 1. But we'll start that up next time. So we got our core 5 people, and we're going to continue that when the time comes. Anyway, that got really ominous all of a sudden. It did, didn't it? It did. Anyway, we will see you guys next Saturday, all right? Gonna do this again. Bye.